Hello everyone and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series Storm Division. Where's that green bit come from? Let me fix that. I found a green bit of Jinxie's webcam. I'm going to fix it. I fixed it. Did it. It's not a problem.
Always ruining things, you know?
It's not a problem if they can't see it. Easy peasy. Welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series Storm Division. We are your casters for the Grand Finals. I am Tetcher, as you can see. This is right now Jinxeekatt, because her head is just in front of her name, but it is Jinxeekatt. Wrong way. Always reversed. Feels good. There you go.
I know.
This is Jinxeekatt, and we're going to be bringing you the Grand Finals between our two Storm Division finalists. They fought their way through the entire season. One of the teams consistently at the top of the table, one starting in the middle of the table, but fought their way tooth and nail to get here.
I am super amazed. I think just like everybody else, Chili Mountain, they kind of came in. They finished in the third qualifier, so still no small feat. But like you said, Tetcher came in, were kind of unassuming to begin with, and ended up being the folks who took out Team Alexander, the folks we expected to see here today. Twice, in fact, you're right. We thought for sure, you know, this is going to be Team Alexander, and then VGM, especially with Exodia qualifying so late, and ended up, you know, anything but. I think I speak for all of us when I say we are super amazed and very excited for this series.
If you count the group stage, I think that Chili Mountain 1-3s have beat Alexander all 3 times. Feels amazing. Wow, feels good. So the game has already started, so I'll show you the maps quickly before we get into that. As you can see, Team Exodia banned out Hanamura and Volskaya. Chili Mountain removing Cursed Hollow and Dragonshire, with our first map of the day being Infernal Shrines. And let's not waste any time because the draft has started. Let's get in there.
Alrighty, Infernal Shrines. Now, just a reminder, I'm sure you guys are all aware, but Hogger is banned. We're not going to see him in Storm Division this season. I'm sure we're all very upset. He's been a lot of fun to play. You can check out some of the other tournaments if you want to see him played. Immediately right out the gate, gonna ban out that Junkrat, getting rid of him. Do not want to deal with the harassment and, of course, the zone control that Junkrat provides.
And of course, the fact that you can't avoid those traps is easy now, as even though we are not allowing Hogger, we are, of course, on the medallionless patch. There are no medallions, no get out of jail free cards. It is now purely down to support and tank zoning to protect those squishy backliners, and of course, general positioning, as we see D.Va getting removed. And I think it's pretty safe to say we're going to see the slow resurgence of the cleanse-based support.
Yeah, we should see, you know, maybe Rhaegar having a little bit more of a place here. A lot of them still holding a very strong position in the meta. You know, Brightwing and a win. Not untypical to see them picked up. However, like Whitemane perhaps has a little bit more freedom to show up here. So
very true.
Cassia, right out the gate, coming in for Cookie Man. Despite the recent nerfs, you know, everything Blizzard has tried to do to make her less prominent than she was after her rework, still one of the best heroes you can pick up. And that is going to be going over to Team Exodia.
Chili Mountain now with their first picks. Now, it is interesting because Chili Mountain have actually lent on a lot of heroes that dropped out of the meta during Medallion play as the rounds went on. Their most played hero, and this is a weird statistic, is Mei, despite the fact that in the last month and a bit, we haven't seen almost any Mei at all. But with the removal of Medallion, perhaps she will see a quick resurgence. But for now, we're starting off with that Deckard Cain and the Sylvanas, the either single target pick potential of the Mind Control Sylvanas that is becoming very popular, all behind it, or of course the AoE silence that the Wailing Arrow offers.
I mean, I feel like Mei is a little bit on brand for Chili Mountain. We're going to see that Leoric snatched away by Nasmus. Now, you were talking about the mind control. One of the things that pairs so well with the mind control is the Entomb. You're able to lock somebody down and then, of course, mind control them into the team, or mind control them and then lock them down with the Entomb. So not going to see that combo coming out today. So maybe looking to head for that Wailing Arrow this time around. But we'll see.
We will see, indeed. But there is now a counter potential option. You talked about mind controlling into the Entomb. We have the sort of slightly jankier version of that potentially here with the potential Valkyrie into Entomb, if that's the way Cookie Man decides to go. Good control of the offlane by Team Exodia as they ban out the Yorel. Another one of those top offlane options that is very well played by Chili Mountain. They're trying to give Leoric just as much freedom as possible with Diva gone, with Yorel gone. We're starting to drop lower onto that offlane priority list.
We should expect to see something like a Sonya or a Malthael here, something that can rotate between the lanes really quickly.
Hey.
And there is right out the gate. Gonna go ahead and pick up that Mouth. Now, he is one of the fastest wave clearers and also can chunk out Johanna and Leo. Hanzo coming in, great poke on the point. You love to see it. Scatter Arrow, I believe, does hit those skeletal defenders. So as he gets stacked up, we'll be able to clear the point fairly quickly.
It's very effective, and he's also fantastic for poking onto the point with that explosive arrow if that's the build he goes for, but if not, the scatter arrow is still great. Malfurion to keep him topped up and to remove slows, try and get him out of May's zoning area, because again, we do see the May coming in. We talked about it at the start. Chili Mountain going to be very happy that the medallion has been removed so that they can get back to playing this as often as possible. But they're now up against the Johanna Hanzo combo if we see the Dragon Arrow. If not, grouping everyone up for Dragon Strike is still very strong, so they need another assassin. How do they deal with this? They go for Tychus to try and melt those front lines, and of course, a bit more of a sustainy backliner.
I like the Tychus. I think it's going to do a lot of work, especially since Hanzo is going to be so safe. Cassia, she really needs that front line to step up since she is a very short-range champion. Tychus being able to pressure that front line is going to make it more difficult, I think, for the members of Team Exodia to step up. But we'll have to see. There's a ton of percent damage coming out, but the assassins are so small health points, which does mean they can get blown up rather easily, but means Malthael and Tychus may not get as much value when going for those juicier kill targets.
Very true. We're going to be seeing a lot of percentage damage to try and deal with. I am concerned with the Last Rites trying to deal with it. I think if Base and Blaze goes Emerald, they have a really good Last Rites setup to try and just melt through people, which again, with the burst, without the bursting of Mouth, is going to be a pain. I agree with what you're saying. I think it's going to be a rough fight for either team. It's just going to depend on who gets the momentum on the objective, I think, is when a lot of the focus will come down to.
I am super excited. Game number 1. Last series, 4-Storm Division. Whoever wins this takes it all.
Let's start with the team on the right. Chili Mountain with Mason Blaze on that Deckard Cain. Infrared on Sylvanas. Tremor on the May. Xenorus going to be busting out that Malthael. And of course, Roger will be bringing out the Tychus.
And over here on the left-hand side, we have Team Exodia with Hot's going to be that Malfurion. Red Robot is your Johanna. Cookie Man rocking that Cassia. Nasmus on the Leoric. And Kevin will be your Hanzo.
Very strong teams, a lot of familiar names and faces for any fan of professional heroes as we jump on board. Charge Strikes starting off for the Cassia, looking to just try and bully people on the objective of a longer period fight. And you did mention that Scatter Arrow. That is the build they choose to go for. A lot of extra Shrine Clear and great backline poke. Great for when you're against a hero like Deckard, who's going to be staying very far back.
I'm actually really excited to see the Deckard coming back. We know with the Medallion, he kind of was devalued, especially since the Ruby changes. The Ruby, of course, not as powerful as it used to be. The Scroll able to be Medallioned out. Now that it's gone, we're seeing him really powerful right out the gate. Cassia gonna be picked off there by Tychus. Great follow-up combo with the May and the Deckard, and it looks like we're gonna see Hots going down as well as Chili Mountain came to win today. You're gonna go ahead, grab them, head up to not the camp quite yet. Looking to grab bottom instead.
You bring up a great point about the Deckard earlier with the fact that he was in the top priority until BBJ decided to ruin everything. So now he is good to see him back, and immediately with his slows and his roots, they pick up 2 kills. Able to grab this bottom camp, and they've already started their own on the right-hand side as well. A lot of flexibility as there is going to be a small gank onto mid lane, onto Xenorus, but it's Malthael easily able to jump onto Red Robot to escape.
Right now, the biggest thing is just getting that XP, getting that lane soak. Nobody really looking to fight unless there is a obvious favor for one team or another. So that's why we can see a lot of them going to grab these camps, going to hide in lane, not really show their faces, and then try and pick off some of these stragglers here. Going to see Johanna scouting out. They find Tremor, race back to their team. Camp has been picked up, and it's back to lanes.
Everyone's setting it back up. Tremor is taking quite a few hits here. Still going to play quite aggressive to look for Cookie Man, zoning him away. Good body block. They try to finish him off, but too tanky. That 30 armor blocking a lot of the damage. Infrared, who did not go for the percentage damage on that overwhelming affliction, doesn't yet have the build needed to try and burst down those targets. We do see Die alone for Malthael, who is currently not alone and is very surrounded, but again, close enough to his gate that he backs away. And Mei with the Chrysalize, going for the spell armor, a very defensive build coming out of Tremor.
Typically, what we see for the Mei, the big reason to take that is just if you look the extra 10-second CDR on the cooldown, so you can be much more aggressive. If you're in a pinch, you have your trade up a lot easier, so it makes a lot of sense to go into that Crystallize here. Now, we actually don't go for Ruby at all for Decker. We go for Potion of Shielding instead. And another thing I want to point out while we're on the subject of talents is everybody just starts to clear around this shrine is Cassia went for the charged strikes. I think you pointed that out a little bit earlier, but I just want to bring a little bit more attention to that, seeing as it's not standard. We usually see the lightning attacking.
The Lightning Fury talents are very, very strong, but on this map, we're going to see a bit more of a focus, like you say, onto the more consistent long period fights. There's that Emerald, as we predicted earlier. When you see Sapphire, it's usually not going to be Ruby, so will sometimes be Emerald picked up. As for some reason, those aren't picked together. There's the focus onto Tychus, forced to bounce away. Will back up. Remember, they have great poke damage with Quarterback and Melting Point here. Good stun by Tremor. Kevin over the wall. Nasmus barely surviving the engage here, but is still going. There's double anti-heals as Nasmus will be taken out.
Pot's in a little bit of a tough pinch now. Half health, half mana. Tremor really doesn't have much to give either, though. Cookie Man going back in for just a moment. This is going to be Team Exodia's Punisher first and foremost. Motor Punisher, not necessarily the strongest, but still a Punisher nonetheless. With everybody very low mana on the side of Chilling Mountain, going to dive over, find their way onto Tremor, but should be cleared out easily enough. We'll typically see the wall picked up here. There's one tower. The other one, and dead. Back to lanes with everybody.
Solid defense coming out. They try to get onto Cookie Man, but again, a little bit too protected. Hots are doing a great job on this. So, the double anti-heals versus Malfurion makes me believe that in order just to react to this, Team Exodia may be forced to pick up a Twilight Dream with both Touch of Death and Emerald on the board. Having that quick silence might be enough to get in the turnaround. Invade comes out from Tremor, a little bit outnumbered. They're forced to back away without their healer.
Cassia is no joke, and Hanzo on those tight corridors just does so much damage. So, luckily for Exodia, they put all the hard work in, they get the camp. Now we're just going to see a little bit more of a skirmish here. That Cryo Freeze coming out from the Mei. Johanna having to pop the Iron Skin. Tremor going back in, still very low on the mana, has to be careful. Boop does push Cassia out of that. A scroll of sealing there. And everyone right now, I think, just looking for poke. Nobody really wanting to commit to a full fight yet.
Red Robot tries to get Infrared in that Condemn, not able to find it. Infrared forced to back up. Good attempt to the root from Hots. He instead ends up getting caught in that scroll of sealing, but a shot comes out. With the kill going over, Tychus being taken out, Roger going down. A great little counter engage with Red Robot, making the most of that level 4 cooldown reduction with Eternal Retaliation.
Now, just from the first couple of minutes, I was like, all right, you know, like Chilling Mountain, they have, they've been watching, they've been studying, they know exactly what they need to do. We're going to see level 10s come out immediately. Mei going to go down. Johanna going to be traded out as well. Can they find Cookie Man? Chasing him down, able to get out. And I would say I think it's starting to turn the way of Exodia. They're looking really strong right now. They're able to grab that bottom gate as well. Get those 10s a split second first, and immediately you saw it come out. The Dragon Arrow, the Blessed Shield, the Ball Lightning. That's a dead Mei. Ended up trading Joe. But yeah, Exodia looking really solid so far.
They do have a little bit of disengage now on that Mei. The Avalanche has been taken. It was not used in the last fight, though. The CC chain, just a little too strong. Interesting to see. Hot is holding their level 10. Will they go reactionary to all that anti-heal and pick up that Twilight Dream, or do they think they can play around it? That extra healing's too good. They don't. We do see the Twilight Dream coming in as Tremor, forced to disengage, just gets out of the Entomb.
Nicely done by Tremor, using the movement speed from that skating away, able to skirt away just at the last possible second. You get that kind of weird Leo interaction where it's kind of a 50-50 shot. Do they go in? Do they go out? Today looks like Tremor is going to escape. Camps being picked up for both teams. We should see... Well, they both of them hold it, but it looks like Exodia is just ready to get in lane and find position. They are nearly a level up here, so just going to try and fight over this shrine.
Roger, this game has been suffering from the classic issue... Oh, hang on, Tremor in a little bit of danger. The classic issue of I can't get closer, the enemy team has blinds, and so far has 15 stacks on that in the rhythm. As we do see Xenorus creeping up. Roger coming from below. Slightly slower rotation from Nasmus, who's just trying to soak his team up to that level 13 advantage, which they will get. They've also started the point, so we see Chili Mountain begin to move in. They want to try and make something happen before that 13 is acquired, but they're beginning to struggle. Red Robot zoning them too well, and we do see Team Exodia backing up. This does give Chili Mountain time to get on the point, though.
So Chili Mountain gonna get ahead here for just a moment. Everybody from Exodia looking to reset, come back in, find a different angle. Gonna have to do so soon though. 24-8. Hanzo going to be able to put in work in just a moment here using the Sonic Arrow. Out comes that Commandeer Odin. We're going to see Ball Lightning, Dragon Arrow as well. Cassia taking so much damage, does go down. Avalanche only hitting onto Leoric. Infrared very low. Red Robot has to run for his life. Doesn't have that trait anymore. Going to be the next to fall. And Chili Mountain turned this round as the other three run for their lives.
Perfect cryostasis from Mei to block the Bless Shield. Infrared was caught in it and took all the damage, but Mesa Blaze, good potions, a fantastic stay a while and listen, kept Infrared alive, and they were able to get the counter engage. This Punisher will go over to Chili Mountain, who do, of course, have a Sylvanas. This is going to have to be a difficult but important defense for Team Exodia.
Not having that front line is gonna be rough. Hanzo has to tank it. There is the lockdown. Oh no, natural agility over the wall though. Kevin able to get away. Now the Frozen Punisher with the Sylv, little bit redundant here, but it only does offer 3 seconds of stasis on the tower. So John gonna jump again. Black Arrows is out. Should see this fort go down. Now Chili Mountain are looking for more heroes. Punisher still very healthy as they look to take this keep wall.
The numbers advantage that they got on that attack means, like you said, that Punisher took very little damage. Red Robot going to be the one who is forced to pull the Punisher, but that is fine, the perfect target. And they will finish that off. You can see Red Robot, he's fishing, seeing if anyone overextends. Bless Shield, a very short cooldown, already back up, prepared for the re-engage. But Chili Mountain, they play it too safe. They back up. They're going to avoid the fight and maybe even hunt a Nasmus. But again, Nasmus, also great game presence. Going to try and avoid this fight. A nice little Wraith Walk. Last rites will not finish the job.
So one thing I will say here, Chili Mountain is looking very dominant right now. However, the cooldowns of Team Exodia are very, very short. Now they're all 5 back together. Chili Mountain are going to have to continue to look for these picks. If they try to take the 5v5, I fear that it might go south for them because so many times we should be able to see Exodia run in, drop the ults, maybe try and find a pick here or get somebody to 50% health. And the longest cooldown is Twilight Dreams. We're going to see him come in right now. There's Twilight Dream. Goodbye, Mei. Everything coming out but Ball Lightning and Entomb. Nasmus trying to find the angle, unable to do so. They're going to steal the camp. It's exactly what I was talking about. They have these short cooldowns. They can look for those picks, and they can continuously try to find these team fights.
They have to back up, though. Camp was taken by the side of Chili Mountains. They try and reinforce theirs, but Roger, with that melting point quarterback combo, clears the minions, meaning no push can happen. The kill was acquired, but the push is shut down by the defense of Chili Mountain. Team Exodia now might have to actually move back and defend because Nasmus is clearing this up very effectively, but mid lane will actually get some counter push going. The sappers aren't healthy, but they will do a little bit of damage if left unattended.
It's still anyone's game here. Everybody back up. Anybody able to claim this? Again, It's chore time right now. Same talent tier. Nobody wants to look to fight. Are going to see maybe a potential steal over onto this bruiser camp here. Xenaris is on the way. There's a couple of danger pangs come out. Exodia decides it's not worth it. Too risky. Gonna back up.
Great scouting by Xenaris, seeing that was happening, allowing the team to rotate and force a disengage out of Exodia. Interesting talents to point out here. That's the stuff. A risky talent to take within the rhythm, but honestly, Tychus is stacking not very well, so in this case, it will get value. It's a risky talent because, of course, the healing from that stuff will not happen until minigun concludes. So if you actually really heavily stack in the rhythm, you will actually lose healing value because you might die before the healing happens. But luckily, Roger isn't able to stack. There's a good Dragon Arrow, though, that's still going to kill off maybe Cassia. Down at the same time, the Twilight Dream was good. Last Rites takes out Red Robot. And that's a very convincing fight for Chili Mountain as they look for E. Kevin in the backline. We see Nasmus trying to stay alive. E. Kevin taken out. Will Nasmus live? No, Xenaris wins the 1v1 thanks to Die Alone.
Great use of the die alone, the percent damage there. I want to point out the knockback from Tychus onto E. Kevin there on the Hanzo, able to knock him back into the root, securing that kill, making sure he didn't get away. So just really, really solid by Chili Mountain. And at this point, you know, I'd like to say this team definitely has it in the bag, or it's looking to go this way, but I honestly don't know, you know. That was a 4-man team wipe from Chili Mountain. They're doing a phenomenal job right now, but we've seen so many times already in this game, 13 and a half minutes in. Exodia can come back, maybe do the same thing, and it's still, you know, one of the reasons that Heroes of the Storm is my favorite game.
Exodia is going to need level 20 in order to really make this work. They seem to be struggling. Weirdly enough, they don't go for the percentage damage on Cassia. Instead, going for some more Lightning Furies, which is a little bit extra immediate burst. But the issue they've been having most of this game is the fact that they're having to burn 3 to 4 heroics on one target, in this case the Mei, to get the kills, and then they have very little counter engage when Sylph drops the Wailing or the Stay One and Listen comes out, and they just get chased down and killed. A little bit of extra damage or a little bit of a longer CC on level 20 is going to do them a world of good.
I agree. I think level 20 will help them out once they get that buried alive. It should help because you can shut down most of those counter-engage tools like you were mentioning. And I also think it would help them to maybe take some of these fights back out a little bit, come back for these ults. But now we might be seeing the beginning of the end here. There's a lot pushing in on this bottom lane. Punisher not going to last for too much longer. And it looks like actually it's totally fine. You know what? Even the keep takes a smidgen of damage, but everybody on Exodia going to clear this out. Meanwhile, though, Chili Mountain basically have free run of the map.
Chili Mountain doing a very good job right now. Slow and steady. Most of their fights haven't really been their own engages. They've been reacting to Team Exodia. They're more than happy just to win this game over time. They're in no hurry. They're not going to hyper push. They're waiting for their own level 20, which is just around the corner, which will be their next big advantage when they can try and make a play. Stun onto Tremor. He was looking to see if he could catch anyone overextending. Instead, they finally go for their own engage. Sapphire does catch the slow. Wailing Arrow, they're diving all the way in. Last Rites can be dropped. Good silence, though, to scatter Arrow. Deletes Malthael, but there's the counter kill with the Last Rites onto Red Robot.
Malthael will return with that level 20. So a little bit of XP going over to the side of Team Exodia, but still gonna be a 5v4. And this is so tough right now. Again, you know, Chili Mountain basically just lives in Team Exodia's base here. They're going to step in, look for Cookie Man. He does get caught. Malfurion able to use that Nature's Cure, gets him out. Cookie Man survives a minute longer. This keep, however, not going to be as lucky. Maybe? Stay One Listen comes out. Good, unstoppable using the Wraith Walk. Solanus and Roger trying to get it down. One more hit. There we go.
20's on the board now for Team Exodia, though. They're waiting for Johanna, who's picking up that Radiating Faith. We're also going to see the Endless Lightning, the Astral Communion, and of course, you mentioned it, that Buried Alive. This is where Team Exodia can make their comeback, but they've got to play around this. If they go too hard, Respect the Elderly will shut down everything they have worked for, and they can't do the exact same strategy they've been doing all game of just hard engaging onto Mei and killing her, because she now has Flash Freeze, getting a quick instant Cryo Freeze if she takes lethal damage. She is now basically has her own indestructible.
It's always been the comparison between May and Johanna here that they're both just kind of moving brick walls. They're really difficult to kill. Radiating Faith versus Indestructible. I mean, both these tanks have just been dropping like flies in all these team fights. Interesting to see, you know, maybe this extra stun will help out Team Exodia. It's looking pretty rough for them right now. They're in position, though, for this next objective. Bottom camp being taken by Chili Mountain. We'll see which one is going to do better. Is it the positioning or is it the camp?
Always fun, like you say here, when you see the tanks with the most amount of deaths. 4 for Johanna, 3 for May. Heroes in the game with 0 deaths only. Deckard Kane, aka Mason Blaze, and Sylvanus. Let's see if they're able to keep that up, if they can keep that perfect ratio as Infrared looks to follow Tremor in.
We're seeing here, Silence still pretty good. Out comes the team fight. There is the Wailing Arrow going to drop onto May. I do believe that was the flash. There's the flash freeze. Tremor very, very low. Nasmus is on top of him. Roger doing work, though. Last right's going to come out. Goodbye, Nasmus. Yanaris chasing in the rest of the members of Exodia, having to back out for now here, trying to get a little bit of poke in. Out comes that Emerald. So much anti-healing. A Red Robot coming in looking for more. Nasmus trying to get that death timer back. Cinar is very, very low. Cookie Man in a little bit of trouble here.
Kevin keeps sieging though, 33 to 33. This is doable. May tries to delay, 39 to 33. It's gonna go over to Chili Mountain as Siege Camp has pushed into the bot lane with 2 catapults. We have to see the retreat out of Team Exodia, meaning that this fort will 100% die, and the keep is probably gonna take some damage. Top 4 does go down exchange though. Good job, Bruiser Camp, which is still very healthy. That will keep pushing. So if Exodia can again pull off the defense here, they're still in with a shot.
Nasmus not able to pull the Punisher over. Johanna has to use the Iron Skin. Out comes that scroll. Black arrows on the keep. They can try to bait this to the top lane maybe, but it is very difficult. And if it goes down, does leave the core completely defenseless for the side of Team Exodia. It's going to jump on top of Leo here, who's going to get away with the Wraith. Continuing to go through. We do find the Buried Alive onto Infrared. Leo, the only one who's going to go down, though. Finally, 2 members of Chili Mountain make it 3. Roger chased down by Cookie Man. May all by herself in the back. There's the flash freeze. Does not matter. John Cena concerned with the Punisher. And I guess actually it matters a little bit. He's a little bit bigger deal than May right now, so they're going to let her live. The core is falling fast. They will be able to hold for now. Maybe, okay, well, you know what, players? Trevor finally does go down, and that is going to be a staggered death.
They did spend a lot of time and both of their damage dealers running after that May, like you said, though, and as such, that is a 52% of the core taken out. Chili Mountain, they don't have the best backdoor potential, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. They're still in with a shot. Great reaction from Roger and Xenorus, though, realizing just how in trouble they were. They made their way to top. Front wall was taken out, but they saved the keep. That could have been the potential counter engage to maybe try and end the game from Exodia. Chili Mountain, they've pulled back, and now they just have to wait for respawns.
It's really difficult for Exodia here. They finally get that fort, but despite the 3 deaths here, they're not really going to get a whole lot on the map. They have middle lane pushing. They have the other lanes cleared enough that they don't die. I don't even think they get the keep here. May will be back up in 6 seconds. There's a huge wave here, but nothing Chili Mountain can't clear out. And yeah, this is just going to be lots of chores to do. They need another 1, maybe 2 more fights like that to finish off this game.
They also need to be careful of their base, like we said, down to 48%, and there are currently 2 catapults pushing their core. A defend ping has been made, and they're just going to run back. Not even going to get bottom camp. They're just going to defend. And look at Chili Mountain. They know that the reaction has to be made by Exodia. The second they show, they might just try and rush this top key. That's exactly what we see. Oh no, they're going to get the camp first. Oh, it's a trap.
This is such a difficult position for Team Exodia to be in, and it's so smart of Chili Mountain to just hide on the map, maybe show 1 hero at most, because with the Sylvanas, with the Tychus, you know, that's a lot of damage. They can threaten the base race at any moment. So as long as they're not showing, then Team Exodia always has to be on the toes. Where are they? They can't step out too far. They have to constantly be hearth canceling. It's a very mentally taxing game to play.
That camp that they got just then was the first time Chili Mountain have shown on the map in 2 minutes. They actually played around the minion wave in mid lane when they rotated to bot. That rotation is insane, and they're really doing exactly what you're saying and denying Exodia that map awareness so that Chili Mountain can keep getting potential. They've obviously shown now, but they're missing. There's only one place they could be. How well can Chili Mountain keep playing with this vision?
Now, this is another tricky scenario. So much of this is just a great mental game by Chili Mountain. Camps are pushing, lanes are pushing, objective is up in 15 seconds, and the possibility of a backdoor is still just right, right at their doorstep. So there's going to have to be some really quick reaction here for Exodia if they want a chance to hold this, and it looks like Team Chili Mountain are taking that. They're ready to head to the core and end it all.
They really are. Let's have a look at Let's have a look at Exodia. Port coming out from Cookie Man. There's Kevin. This is a little slow. They weren't half cancelling. They only just started porting. Infrared first to make it. A little bit of a slow rotation. Chili Mountain are actually late here, as we do see Exodia moving in. The Bless Shield was good. Xenorus taken out for the Astral Communion. Malthael is able to respawn, though. The Wailing Arrow forcing Cookie Man to back away. But now, numbers in favor of Team Exodia. 4v4. Malthael not there. They're fighting on home ground. Exodia trying to force their way into Infrared. Big Red Button trying to get onto the core, but they're taking a lot of damage here. This might be an overextend.
Oh man, there's so much. Avalanche does not connect. Leo grabbing the Protector all the while. Are going to see it May come in, try and delay this. Not a single scratch on the core yet. Joe gonna go down here. Frozen Punisher going to head onto the keep with that camp pushing. Finally, core starts to bleed. Malthael going down once again. May is going to be stunned out there. Flash Freeze coming out, 21% on the core, though. Malfurion goes down. That is going to be game number 1 going over to Chili Mountain.
I do like that Leo tried to hold, he tried to delay, but in this case, it did not work out. Great defense coming out from Exodia, but Chili Mountain, they made the most of that revive. They got the quick kill onto Cassia, and that was the biggest deal. Removing Cassia from the board meant they had just enough damage to make their way through and pick up those kills and pick up that victory onto the core. Very close to dying was everyone, but without that Cassia damage, Exodia weren't able to kill off Chili Mountain. Chili Mountain take the lead.
Really nicely done. A little bit stressful there at the end. They didn't have the minion wave build up to really help with that push. And as such, you know, we saw them go in. Xenar is eager to finish the game, runs in, ends up face tanking. A lot of that core does end up going down, but luckily they have the Malthael. They can buy back, come back in, and we're able to end it. Great couple of plays there, but still, I'm really excited for this series as we continue on, because that was like an incredibly close game.
That revive from Malthael, like you say, saved them so many times. So many times he was able to revive and actually make it back to the fight. He went on a pale horse for exactly that reason, for the sake of lane soak and also just returning to fights after reviving, and that saved him. If he hadn't had that right there in that last fight, if he hadn't taken on a pale horse or no one can stop death, then Exodia probably would have held. They would have been able to defend that. Lyric would have made it back, they would have got the Entomb, and they might have been able to sustain. But instead, Malthael got there just in time, picked up the kills. This was beautifully played by Xenorus.
I really think Xenorus is the MVP of this game. They did a lot of work. They carried super hard. They were able to put in a lot of damage when Roger couldn't, because in the, the first 13 levels or so, Roger just kind of had to hang out in the back. Red Robot would just immediately come in, blind him, and then, you're a blind Tychus. What are you going to do? You have to safely retreat, throw your grenade, then come back in later. So really nicely done. I am curious how the game might have changed if we had the Indestructible for Johanna as opposed to the Radiating Faith. We saw it get value a couple of times, but maybe if they had the tank to come back similar to Chili Mountain, it could have been a little bit different.
Very much agree. That stun duration really helped them out a couple times, but you can't help but wonder what if they had been able to stay alive through those fights a little bit more. They could have also gone as just a... This one's a bit more out there, but maybe Blinded by the Light could have been quite nice to try and avoid some of those last rights, but it's a very minor boost in that shielding against what is especially how Xenorus was using it, a very high damage burst from that Malthael.
I mean, there are so many we could go, what if, what if, what if? Like what if they didn't die, you know? So many things that could be said here. It looks like the teams are itching to get ready for game number 2. So we're going to hop into that here. And I mean, I just can't stress enough how excited I'm going to be. And if we're ready, I'm hyped for the map. A couple of games I played have made me a believer. It looks like you're showing it here. It's going to be Brax's holdout.
Brax's holdout shall be the map selected by Chili Mountain. You say you become a believer, because I remember there a time when you weren't as big of a fan of this map. What changed your mind?
So I like the way that Brax's holdout can be played. There are several different ways that you can do it. There is the standard 1-4 where you win the, you try to win one of the lanes. You try to win both of the lanes, obviously, but if you can hold one, you can do really well. Another way you can play it is you go 2 offlaners and you have a 3-man roaming gank squad. They take camps, they run around, they just try to catch people off guard. It is a really unique way to play it, and I really love when teams do that.
Super down. Sounds good. So we don't have we're missing one player. They're having a quick restart, so they can jump back in as we're getting ready to head into game number 2. But for now, while we are waiting, let's give a shout out to some important information from Nexus Gaming Series. For starters, just not related to that, but in general, if you're enjoying the show, please consider dropping a follow so you know when Nexus Gaming Series goes live with not just Storm Division, but also the other divisions. In fact, my finals are tomorrow. I'm in Nexus Gaming Series. We're in our Division D West finals, so that should be fun. I'm excited to play that, and this one here will be casting that, so that will be fun. That should be very entertaining. But also, if you are enjoying, then me and Jinxie, we're not being paid to do this. We enjoy this. But any subs or donations with bits that you guys do on this channel while Storm Division games are going on, go directly to the casters. So if you're enjoying the show and want to support us, that is a great way to do it outside of checking out our channels, because we do both stream and cast other things as well. But we are both streamers full-time. We're both struggling to make it by, and any support you can give is very appreciated. So if you have anything to spare, subs and bits to this channel, go to the casters, and are very appreciated. Jinxie, what can you tell us about next season of Storm Division?
Next season of Storm Division. Alrighty, so, let me double check, make sure I have all the information right. First thing I know, at least, first and foremost, there are at least 3 spots that you're going to be able to qualify for. The winner of each qualifier will receive a spot in Storm Div, and that is going to be qualifier 1, January 6th and 7th. Qualifier 2 is going to be January 13th and 14th, and then the third one will be January 20th and 21st. Registration for each qualifier closes the Sunday before that qualifier. So make sure you get that in. It is open to any player who is interested and playing, thinks they have a shot in Storm Division. You don't have to be a Grandmaster. You don't have to be a Master. You don't even have to be Diamond. If you think that your team deserves a spot, you can come in and play. Season 2 starts on the 15th of February, and then playoffs will run until mid-May.
Should be good, so make sure you sign up, make sure you have a lot of fun. We've got a lot of players out there who might be looking at this, a lot of players who've come back to the game or are starting to get back more into pro stuff. There is a great prize pool available, which once again will be crowdfunded. There will be another match arena available for that prize pool, but for now, we are in our finals, and we do have the match arena for this one as well. We are very close. The match arena artwork has been given out already to people who have contributed. People who haven't, though, please message Wedge if you've not received your artwork and contributed to the prize pool, because a lot of you didn't have contact information. So please contact Wedge on the NGS server on Discord so that you can get your lovely artwork.
I would just like to say, hopping back to Storm Division qualifies for a second. You know, maybe if you're listening here and you're, I don't know, a academy team for one of those other organization tournaments going on right now. You maybe want to test your stuff against some of the best players in North America right now. This could be an opportunity to do so. Maybe you want to have more than just a couple of scrims. You want to play against some other teams that have some really strong players. This is the place to do so. Again, It doesn't matter if you are an ex-pro, it doesn't matter if you are a bronze player. You can get in the qualifiers, then you are more than welcome to play. And it looks like, speaking of play, our players are ready to get going for game number 2.
Yes, they are. So let's get into the game. For starters, thank you for the bits donations to Deranged Minion for the 1,000 bits. Very appreciated. And just key earlier on for a 400-bit donation. I think I saw a sub. I'm sorry it didn't show. If you could share your sub again, if I did miss a sub, then please do so that we can give you a big thank you. As we are going to be heading in. Steve is here saying, RIP Oxygen Academy. Why RIP? Get him in here. You've got time for the sign up. Let's go. As we see Sylv as the first ban.
All right. I mean, it was a fantastic Sylv last time, that's for sure. Chromity going to be taken out here as well. That poke is absolutely insane on Braxis. And remember, it's open until that Sunday of the 6th and 7th of January. So let's do some quick math. Pull out the calculator here. You got all the way until the 2nd to get them in. So bring that Academy team in, Steve. No rip. You got plenty of time.
The 28th is when the registration starts. So you've got 25 days to get it ready and then several days to get them all signed up and try and play in one of the best leagues in the world right now. And we can say world because we got them lovely Korean players from Team Alexander. As we do see Johanna getting banned out, a little bit too scary. Even though there was no win, Red Robot's Johanna was a massive nuisance and was the result of was the instigator for a lot of Exodia's kills as they picked up the Rexar. Not banned, was picked up, but there are some heroes who can deal with Rexar.
So now that Medallion is gone, we can see one of the more unique counters to Rexar, and that is the Kira. She stacks really well off of the bear. She's able to jump on top of the body. And Garrosh D.Va coming out. So they're just going to go ahead, go with that D.Va, not banned out this time around. And I think that it's going to be really strong against Rexar. I haven't personally seen the matchup, so this will be new for me. But, yeah, should be able to dive past the bear, jump on the body, just be a menace.
Yeah, I believe Rexar wins in the long term, but I believe D.Va can actually be very good in the long term. It's a lot more punishing if Rexar gets caught out. It's going to be interesting. I think a nuclear option D.Va might be the play here with full metal just to sustain through that Rexar. If not, then perhaps the anti-healing on level 4 might be decent as opposed to the rushdown, but rushdown does so well on the objective. There's a lot of good options here. I think Zedarus is going to put on a good show for us, and it will be a very exciting matchup to watch. However, in the bot lane, that objective just became a lot harder to take as Junkrat makes it onto the board.
Everyone always seems to forget about Junk. I mean, we had him banned out last time. We're going to see why. I always say Junkrat doesn't exist to win or lose. He exists to make everyone's life as miserable as possible. Holding the point is going to be so tough. He'll be able to boop him off. We're going to see Greymane and Tychus banned out here. So anybody who can really kind of shut down those front lines taken away for both teams. Seeing, you know, the tank players, they really would like to play the game this time.
Who plays the game? We do. Hammer Zarya. Oh, God. When you talked about Medallion being removed, suddenly it's a lot harder to step up to Sergeant Hammer, being able to Medallion so that you can run up and maybe get a throw. In fact, you perfect 1010 for your sub, by the way. Very appreciated. But yeah, now being able to not being able to Medallion through to get to that hammer and get the engage on her has made it way more difficult to play around Sergeant Hammer. And with Zarya on the board, she is very protected. So what do? We go for a lot of siege, the ability to deal with that hammer from range. Junkrat will be annoying, and now Gul'dan will do a lot of damage. So what do we see? The reactionary healing, someone who can actually out-heal corruption.
Oh, man, I don't know which comp I like more, Tetcher. I'm looking at these, and I was like, oh, the Zarya hammer, that's really annoying. The Morales, I don't know. It leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. Morales does one thing well, and that's heal. You know, she doesn't really offer much else, save a little bit of armor. Murden will be able to jump in. That's going to require a lot of Garrosh throwing him out. And if there's anything we know, Red Robot, pretty aggressive tank, able to get in there, smack some heads around. Stukov Gul'dan able to poke from a distance. We'll have to see.
I'm leaning a little bit more towards the Chili Mountain composition because I think if Cookie Man can't land that CC and he has to step up to do it, if he can't land his concussion mines, I think the protection is a little too high from the side of Chili Mountain. It's very much reliant on Cookie Man. Muradin is not a good tank into Hammer. He's a good tank in general, but into Hammer, it's a bad time. We'll see if it works out, though, as we're going to head into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. And Jinxie, who's this on the right, sieging up in front of their base for some reason?
Alrighty, over here on the right-hand side, we do have Team Chili Mountain. Infrared is going to be your Morales. Xenaris is that Diva. Roger on the Hammer. Mason Blaze on the Zarya. And Tremor on that Garrosh. A little bit of a role swap here.
Yeah. Infrared, the player who played the Sylvanas last game, playing the Morales this game. Mason Blaze the support onto Zarya, which is kind of a support. And here on the left-hand side, we have Team Exodia with Nasmus on that Rexar in the top lane. And in the bot, Cookie Man on Junkrat, Kevin on the Gul'dan, Red Robot on the Muradin, and Hot, a.k.a. Toby, going to be playing that Stukov. Let's have a look at some of the level 1 talents. Unsurprising, together we are strong. All in on protection for that Hammer, getting more energy from allied shields.
This is shaping up to be a crazy draft here, and I still think I want to give it to Exodia here. One of the things about Junkrat, I mean, we could even see them going for that nade quest just because you constantly want to be defending Hammer. That means tank gonna step in. We're gonna see Hammer have to get that shield to get away. Infrared gonna heal him up. Right out the gate, they have a ton of siege damage. So immediately, the first thing that comes to note is we've swapped here. The 4-man in the top lane, and then the bottom lane is going to be where our solo laners are.
Very nicely played by Chili Mountain, able to just go for a quick rush up into the top lane, but also able to get that concussion mine onto Roger. Not level 4 yet, having no siege tactics. They got a lot of damage with that concussion mine onto the Sergeant Hammer. Quick healing did come out from Infrared and Mason Blaze, but they did still get punished. Red Robot just getting disengaged on again as the healing comes out onto Tremor, who is taking a lot of damage. Morales having to work quite heavily and with a lot of overtime to try and keep everyone sustained here as Tremor is getting bullied. He's like the only really effective target to focus here.
This is one of the best ways to play against a Morales early on. In fact, it's one of the only ways to play against her, and that is just consistent poke damage, consistent harass onto a target, make her waste that energy, then go in, finish the kill. Infrared gonna be able to heal back up here, though, get that energy bar full. Down in the bottom lane,
you were curious how this lane went.
Making pretty quick. What's that?
You said you were curious how this lane went. I think we're finding out.
Yeah, actually, Rexar is just decimating that mech. In fact, one more axe is going to send it all the way back to the base. Going to be a little bit of time before Xenaris gets it back, which means they basically slip behind the wall because Baby Diva has 3 health.
Just dunking on him as we do see everyone moving in. Defensive tactics for the Morales, going with that cellular reactor, that quick burst heal. We see the speed barrier once Hover Siege is on the board. It is the ultimate meme Hammer talent, giving Hammer that fast Hover Siege. And of course, Siege Tactics, finally online. Morales, by the way, went for life support, which is energy every time the safeguard target takes damage, which is a reactionary pick to save Hammer. If Hammer's going to be the person hard engaged, might as well gain energy from it.
This is a great way to counter the play I was talking about earlier, which is just poke her down, make her waste her energy. Tremor, however, out of mana, out of health, has to back up, but Morales out of energy as well. This is really, really rough here. Zarya full of energy. Roger gonna continue to keep sieging away here. Tremor really can't do much. Maybe get a throw onto Muradin, who would be able to jump out. And now we're really seeing the value of having a support that has a little bit of CC, because Chili Mountain doesn't have much at all.
That Junkrat is doing a lot of work as well. Great play from Cookie Man so far. Has gone for Boom Power, which is the ultimate choice here. 10-second cooldown reduction when you concussion mine an enemy. And he's just going to keep using that on cooldown for Sergeant Hammer. the Siege Tactics is as long a cooldown as your Sergeant Hammer's own shielding, own armor plating, but that's just getting completely shut down because guess what? Another concussion mine. The armor is gone, the protection is gone, but now forced to back all the way up, reposition, and concussion mine comes out, zones out the garage and gets the kill.
There it is. You focus many targets, and Morales has to pick and choose who she wants to heal. Roger almost going down there, but it ends up being Tremor who sacrifices his life so that their main carry can get out. And now, not having that Garrosh step up and protect anybody, none of these three heroes really do anything to prevent any kind of siege. So they just have to kind of take the pounding for a while. Up here in the top, Gul'dan and Junkrat just going to keep pushing away from a very safe distance. First Zerg wave will go over to Exodia, who are looking very dominant, have level 7 in game number 2.
It's looking really good. We got bogged down now to try and counter that speed barrier. They're really focusing on Hammer, who now has that hover siege. That speed barrier going to have to be focused. Great siege tactics, great move. This is the talent tier where we might see Chili Mountain be able to make a comeback, because right now Exodia are absolutely bodying them with that Junkrat. Throw onto Red Robot, who's being targeted by the fort, takes a lot of damage. Zerg wave has been cleared pretty effectively. But again, Cookie Man concussion mining out Roger meant there was a lot less wave clear for a couple seconds there. This is a gorgeous play by Team Exodia to shut down what is a very hard to deal with composition. As we see these other level 4 talents, the Medidrone, extra healing on the person who is going to be hit by that safeguard. Nice little pickup here for Morales to actually deal with the issue you said earlier, to deal with the fact of spreading out the damage. It's a cool talent that we don't see very often. And D.Va, with the rush down and get on the point, wants to be mobile, wants to rotate, wants to clear lanes and objectives quickly.
I really like that get on the point picked up here from D.Va. Will allow her, like you said, to move around, maybe potentially look for a couple of ganks here. They can get a quick clear on that bottom wave, come up, try and fight the top a little bit, head back down. And we are going to see, though, right now, staying in bottom, we have a huge fight here. Junkrat actually booping a hammer out of Stukov's silence, allows them to get away. Garrosh going to finish that level 1 quest. Infrared, nice and safe in the back, going to heal down Tremor. However, Roger in the back pops the siege tactics. May not be enough. Here comes Infrared, able to heal up the damage. Red Robot able to jump away. Oh no, once again, Tremor going to be the next to fall down. This fort in such a rough spot. Kevin trying to step up, but he has got no health. Finally, does the life tap, which is super spicy at such low health, but doesn't go down quite yet. Mason Blades, hearthing away. Everybody just getting the hell out of Dodge. This is going to be this top fort going down.
Cookie Man is ridiculous this game. The full concussion mine build is absolutely decimating them. D.Va, another thing for just quickly for the get on the point, actually gives movement speed to allies as well, which is another talent purely based on helping Junkrat, helping Hammer, which does not help her because she gets absolutely deleted. Rip Bear. That is actually the first close to a kill Chili Mountain have been able to achieve this game, as Tremor has also been feeling the pain of the concussion mine build, is having a really rough time. Biggest rippus, says Xenorus, for the max range Riptide to come in and assist with that kill with the level 10 advantage for Team Exodia.
Level 10 was picked up there. As you saw, Boris came out, Riptire came out there. Murden actually going for the Haymaker. So we usually typically see this. We call this a meme talent. There it is. Taunt onto Junkrat. Junkrat, though, able to boop away using the concussion mine. Everybody going to go ahead, reset back here for just a moment. We have that hover mode from Hammer, so able to stay out of the poke damage a little bit easier, but it doesn't seem that Tremor really is the focus. Roger is the focus really anymore after all. Tremor, once again, being bullied out, trying to protect Roger. He's doing as much as he can, but with such long-range heroes from Exodia, there isn't much to be done other than a couple of autos on a Murden here or there.
Mason Blaze trying to make up for the lack of damage so far with pinpoint accuracy on level 7. And of course, the Expulsion Zone, another protect the hammer talent. Kevin, the corruption, very good, but Infrared able to heal it. Tremor goes for a ride thanks to the concussion mine. Haymaker over the wall, but the sidewall is down. Can Tremor escape? Nope, concussion mine right back under tower. Mason Blade tried to help, but oh, that's a save. That I don't think that was intentional because Hots just saved Mason Blaze's life.
Unfortunate there, a little bit of miscommunication, maybe a miss angle on that massive shove, but able to get a little bit of damage on these front towers. The siege is what they're going for. They have the Zerg wave pushing, so still value, even if it wasn't exactly what they were looking for. Meanwhile, Rexart doing the camps here. Roger trying to keep the peace, trying to make anything happen for the team, but it's all just kind of falling apart as this team comp from Exodia seems to heavily counter everything Chili Mountain want to do.
Expulsion Zone completely traps Hots, though. Chili Mountain finally able to take the fight. The overextension to try and invade the Bruiser camp of Chili Mountain punishes Exodia as they get completely turned on in that fight. And Hots isolated there. This is familiar. Tremor, Haymaker, tries to unstoppable, but he can't unstoppable. The armor reduction of the fort. The damage output is good, though. Speed shield from the Zarya. He's still tanking. Tremor just won't die. Concussion mine. Still trying to focus him down, but Infrared cannot keep the healing up forever.
Finally does go down. And this has turned into protect the garage because Exodia, they don't seem to give any sort of value to this hammer. They're just ripping down Tremor. In fact, taking a look here, we actually have 4 deaths on the Garrosh. This is going to be another Zerg wave going over. Big defense coming out. And I don't think this is what Exodia planned, or excuse me, Chili Mountain planned for at all. The Diva Bomb comes in, which is going to help this Zerg wave a little bit. Takes out most of the little ones. Fort is going to go down here, though. And now Roger in big trouble. Great wraparound play by Red Robot. Unable to find much else here as they look to push on this board.
Gonna back away. Concussion Mine sends Xenorus over the wall. Gonna take a more effective escape route there to not get punished. Level 13 still quite a bit away for Chili Mountain, already available for Team Exodia. As again, protect the Garrosh, please, as he's going to take a lot of damage. Good Horrified to prevent the defense matrix as they all backed away from Tremor instead of turning on him, meaning Tremor had a chance to get away, but they just keep throwing the concussion mines. It's so hard to deal with. Xenorus is going to get dropped here.
Oh, that is both of the frontline members going down. Morale is going to get stunned by the Stormbolt, and it looks like Junkrat finally goes down. So Chili Mountain have a moment of respite, but is really unstoppable in this. And I really have to ponder the Garrosh choice, considering, you know, Junkrat was one of the first picked by Team Exodia. They picked the Garrosh later on, and you're just kind of running it down into someone who's like, all right, like, show up in my team. Like, I'll put you, you want to be in the back line? Like, I'll show you the back line. And as such, he just keeps getting sent to the other side of the map and paying for it with his life.
I'm going to step up. Do it. You won't. As we do see the camp going to get focused down. Chili Mountain picking that up for some counter push. Level 13 on the board for them finally, with Diva holding hers for a bit. Could pick good to go, and that might actually be an important talent here, but there are some other viable talents here. They finally start to try and turn onto Red Robot. The taunt is good, preventing the jump. Expulsion Zone splits the team. They get a kill.
All right, a proper kill here for Chili Mountain. They're looking for Nasmus next, going to find him. That's the Rexar body. Fear not coming out fast enough. However, again, both frontliners killed on the side of Team Exodia, so the rest of the members just have to back up behind base. Gonna give over map control for the time being. However, there's a lot of work to be done. Diva doesn't have her mech, so she's just got to kind of pew these down. Boss gonna be started here from Chili Mountain. Hot's keeping an eye on it, though. Oh, no, Junkrat. Vengeance for Tremor, maybe? Not today.
Forced to back up. Still has Concussion Mine, though. Still might be able to make their way onto the point. They're actually forcing Chili Mountain to get zoned off here. Play comes forward. Tremor taking a lot of damage here. Mason Blaze not actually going to start to actually tank some of the shots. And it looks like Cookie Man can't step up. The zoning is too strong. The Napalm Strike actually working quite effectively here. In the meantime, though, is this worth? Because that keep took a lot of damage. Xenorus probably going to be able to save it, but that keep ain't looking so hot, Jinxie.
As Xenorus probably just going to finish that off while Boss is dealt with down bottom once again. The very safe team comp of Team Exodia able to just push away. They have 16. Some members of Chili Mountain know they can't really push with this much. They don't even lose the fort here, Tetcher. Nades going to zone everywhere because why wouldn't they? Feels Junkrat, man. And if you're Chili Mountain, how are you feeling right now? How do you come back from this? They're going to grab this bottom point. They got to look for something once they hit 16. Maybe not now when you're not 16. This kills the team.
The good part about Chili Mountain's composition is it does end the game very quickly if they're able to get their positioning. They will begin to creep up. They do need to step up because if they can get a fort and a keep, then that Stim Drone Hammer will end the game so fast. And it's going to come down to that, when they can find the angle. You can see right now Rexar just sending out the bear, trying to zone in from behind. Horrify sends Zarya away. The team is very split here.
Oh, might be too late for Chili Mountain. Hammer, nobody dying actually. The team's split very far and wide. Had to go to all over for both of them. They're still going to continue to fight here. The Xenos very, very low. How comes that defensive shielding point was picked up for Team Exodia? Tremor wants to get into the fight once. Mech has to be burned to survive. Xenaris jumping out there for the moment. Out comes that Stim Drone for Hammer goes away. Silence from Stukov, very good. Virulent reaction is just perfect. Doesn't allow Xenaris to push much further in. Camp taken. Oh, Tremor gets hit with that shield. Very slow play from both the teams. Xenaris once again nearly losing that mech. In fact, does finally go down, and now Chili Mountain may be in trouble.
We see the counter engage. Tremor throws out. Nasmus tries to hold. The balls have been unleashed. Stim Drone up for another 48 seconds. Riptire into the backline. Massive shove gets Tremor out again. As we see the focus coming in. Concussion Mind sends them for the disengage. Roger is kiting backwards as hard as he can. Tremor going deep inside to look for a turnaround, but he cannot do it. His health is too low, and we will see the retreat. And I'm going to show you a replay that I don't know if you saw in this, and that is the fact that Xenaris got out thanks to Morales being yeeted in by Muradin. So have a quick look at this play here. We see the stuns. We see the focus. Xenaris dropping low, very low, almost dead. Everyone gets knocked back by the Morales flying in and saves the day. In the meantime, Top is getting pushed in hard.
Very rough times here for Chili Mountain. They were so dominant in game number 1, but now they are fleeing for their lives. Keep surely going down 62% on that Zerg wave. Still, Hammer gets that Stim Drone. Not going to be enough. The members of Exodia just pushing them away. Nobody gets to play in the fight. Like, this whole game has just been poor Chili Mountain running up, trying to make something happen. Junkrat says, nope. Muradin says nope. Again, Junkrat with the Riptire. As soon as they come back in, it says no. Or the Boom Pow. They really haven't been able to do anything, Tetcher. Nobody is under any pressure.
So it comes down to this. Chili Mountain, they are now basically trapped in their base. They do have a very fast Zerg clear with this Diva build and, of course, the Sergeant Hammer. Now their strategy is just defend and delay because they are going to be in their base for a long time. Exodia, though, their strat, soak to 20, win fight, end game. They do see this camp being started. They're not full 5 here, so they might be forced to back up due to the fact that Junkrat has yet to arrive at this fight. And Junkrat did not go for the Ripper Air, so we'll have a slower rotation. As such, camp is still taken by Chili Mountain.
Great job there by Exodia, understanding what they had, what they didn't have, and not taking the fight just because you've got the momentum. You want to keep it. They didn't want to sacrifice taking the 4v5 down 20s. So the camp already being cleared out. Now they're just going to try and keep these lanes pushing in their favor, try and step back, hide in the vision game, potentially look for a pick.
Tremor finds a lot of friends. Does he drop the taunt? He does. Catches just Muradin, but Muradin's still going to turn it round. The expulsion zone keeps Tremor alive, but he's getting focused down so hard. The corruption is too much. That's a good pick for Exodia. With the objective still quite a bit away, though, they are forced to have to take the boss.
Poor Tremor. If I'm him right now, I know I keep harping on it, but this must just be so frustrating. Like, truly a tilt-inducing game. Hopefully he can shake it off, and maybe they can look to come back. Or Get ready for the next one. Boss is going to be taken by the blue team here. Not a whole lot that the members of Chilling Mountain can do. They don't have an insane amount of point control without that Diva Bomb. Didn't have it available. They do have that bottom lane, like you showed, pushing it. So somebody's going to have to go deal with that. But there's a bigger problem up here in the top lane, and it's the boss.
They clear out one of the catapults, still another one to go, but they're weakening it. They're just trying to deal with the push as much as possible. Roger is actually taking quite a bit of damage. That speed barrier will now help out, but here comes Exodia, trying to do some damage, trying to slow down this defense and get some core damage. They're going to even maybe look for a kill. There's the Unstoppable for Tremor as he looks to try and capitalize on this kill command, rooting everyone in place. The Horrify onto Hammer, taken out with the Haymaker.
That's all of their damage coming out. Xenaris very low. They were able to push the bomb away. Boss is on the core. Shield is falling fast. They finally get the mech back in. Tremor very low. Infrared and Mason Blaze trying to hold it, but Morales is in the back line now. There's the Junkrat. Goodbye, Lieutenant Morales. Xenaris next on the chopping block. Tremor able to chase him away. Zarya goes down. 98%. That catapult being protected, and this looks like it's going to be going the way of Team Exodia.
The concussion mines just too good. Pick up yet another fight, and the Haymakers to capitalize and follow up on them. Absolutely insane. We are tied up in this best of 5 as Team Exodia take game number 2.
Oh, man, very nicely done. You know, first game, sometimes we just got to shake off the nerves. Exodia looking very dominant in the second game. I don't know if it's maybe a scrim, maybe something they've seen played before, or if they just knew what they wanted. They knew how to counter the draft as it came out. Really, really well done. We look at the end screen here. 15-4 in favor of Team Exodia, and that's got to sting, especially when you look 6 kills on the Diva, 6 kills on the Garrosh. Over 2/3 of them on your front line.
We all know that basically all tank players despised the medallion while it was out, but this is going to be a situation where Tremor's going to be sitting there and just like, oh god, please, please, come back. I need you so much, medallion, as he yeets through the air, thanks to the absolute MVP of that match, Cookie Man.
Oh. I'm honestly surprised we don't see Junkrat played more often. I mean, typically we'll see bans come out. Oh, wait, that's fair. Infernal Shrines, usually, as we saw, banned game number 1. Braxis especially, I'm surprised it made it through this time round. Dragonshire, another one. But that is not a lobby, that is a party. There we go.
We are all
just getting ready for the games. But yes, still a pretty good hero, it turns out. Something that needs to be considered. And especially where we're going next, would highly consider Junkrat ban for whoever is not first pick.
All right, looks like this lobby is incorrect, so we're going to go ahead and make another one due to the fact that someone decided to try and pick a map that was banned. So we are all good. So we'll get back into that in a moment. So, well played, Team Exodia. Absolutely ridiculous. It's nice that you get to see the boom pow. You don't get to see that too often, but oh, it's toxic. It's so toxic. The 10-second cooldown reduction when you land concussion mine on an enemy, usually Junkrat save that concussion mine for either the rare engage opportunity or an escape. And Cookie Man was just like, nah, mate. Enemy team go brrr as he yeets them through the air to pick up so many kills.
It was so oppressive. Honestly, I don't even know what you do into that. Pray, I suppose. Yeah, that's fair. There were so many times. I mean, the amount of resources committed to saving Hammer or Garrosh so many times. Poor Tremor. Had the Unstoppable, had the Morales healing, the extra healing, the Zarya shield, the Zarya ultimate, and then still ending up going down just because every 3 seconds, you're further and further and further back, and the team has to keep stepping into enemy territory to try and save you before finally they're like, we can't step up anymore. Like, sorry, friend, maybe thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Just having to the fact that they didn't have any way to deal with that due to the amount of the low cooldown of it was insane. Like you said, there's almost no way to counter it unless you have a comp more prepared for it. But to be fair, that is the fault of Chili Mountain. You mentioned it during the game. Junkrat was picked early.
A better player would know what the solution is there. I unfortunately do not. Luckily for me, I don't have to play these games. It looks like we're getting ready for game number 3. Hopefully, you know, Chili Mountain can shake off any kind of tilt that happened there. I'm not saying that they are, but if it was me personally, like I would be like, you know, 5 minutes, guys. I need to go yell at the moon or something.
And no one would blame you after that. As you can see, our third map is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. Map selected by Team Exodia, as Chili Mountain, no surprise there, have opted for first pick and first ban. Looking good so far. So, we're just about to head into the draft. Before that, I'm having a quick peek at what happened the last time these teams faced each other. The last time was in Week 1, when Chili Mountain had a bit of a shakier start, as Exodia beat them in a 3-1, including with Chili Mountain winning on Infernal Shrines, and then Towers of Doom, Battlefield of Eternity, and Cursed Hollow being won by Team Exodia. One of those maps, Cursed Hollow, is banned this series.
So, Tomb of the Spider Queen, lots of potential to team fight here, lots of different macro potential, and you know what I'd really love to see? I'd really love to see a Wild Heart draft from one of these teams with the Leo main tank. Yeah, with the Leo main tank and then his Devo. We'll see if we get any of that, if anybody is feeling spicy, because if you have any super secret strats, now's the time to play them.
Fun part is Oxygen have also done a version of this as well, a little bit more heavier on the Deathwing, but they do like these very high hit point multi-man compositions as well. And well, there's a Red Robot and Nasmus in this team, so the potential is there if Cookie Man, Kevin are potentially willing to have a little bit of a swap. For now, we will start with D.Va being banned. One of the hardest heroes to lane against. We did see insane play out of Nasmus on that Rexar to bully out the D.Va in that game number 2. But in this case, we will see it just getting removed, as well as the Chromie.
Chromie, once again, survived another round of balance changes without getting anything changed about her, which is kind of interesting considering at the top level of play, she's almost always first pick, first ban in that kind of ratio. We see it all the time in some of the other tournaments. Sylvana's going to be banned out this time by Chili Mountain, not wanting to play it themselves, it looks like, as they are going to have first pick here. So, what do we see? Is there anything from the last couple of games that Exodia want to get rid of, or something on the map that just they're not feeling?
It's a good question. We're going to see the Johanna taken out. They play it normally, but in this case, it's so good on that double rotation. So seeing that banned out from Exodia makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you mentioned the Chromie. In NGS total, she has a 30% ban rate, banned in a third of all games. In professional North American heroes, she is banned in 80% of all games. So seeing her being banned out here, not too surprising. Like you said, still has not been touched with any kind of nerf stick. And speaking of sticks, Deckard is first pick.
But Imperia's level 7 Flash of Anger is the problem. I'm not mad or anything.
Did that get nerfed, did it? It was just the W that got buffed.
W got buffed, Imperia's
health
was
got
nerfed, I think.
Yeah, his health got nerfed, yeah, feels bad.
His health was nerfed, his Flash of Anger, I believe, was nerfed last patch, you are correct.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, Deckard coming out once again, suited him well in game number 1. We all know that Mason Blaze is an absolute monster on it. This time around, Nasmus going to go with the early Urel, and it's not banned, so Cookie Man on the Junkrat again, another fantastic map for him. We'll see what Tremor is thinking, you know, maybe like a Karazim main tank so he can get away.
Maybe. I mean, me and you just on the whole Imperius being nerfed thing, we're talking about it a day or so ago, where Blizzard are just like, We love it when people can play heroes as main tank and another role, or play heroes in multiple roles. Please play Blaze in multiple roles. Okay, we're going to play Uther in multiple roles. Wait, no, stop. Okay, we're going to play Imperius in multiple roles. Stop, nerf the health. Okay, you're going to play Blaze in multiple roles? Oh, we did that a month ago and then stopped because it wasn't as good as we hoped? Wait, stop.
Blizzard doesn't want us to have fun. I mean, that's just how it is. Diablo gonna be banned out here. Another fun hero on the map. Great for fighting around those points. Not going to make it through this time round. Neither team having a main tank yet. Two big heavy hitters.
There's a
being
Leo
knocked off the board. Yeah, it could be the Leo. You're right. Maybe this is the comp that I'm hoping for.
Play Blaze as main tank. Okay, we're going to play Leo as main tank. Stop! I don't think we're going to see it this time, but the option is there, as we will see Garrosh getting removed.
He's got the bunker, I mean, so, you know, if you get yeeted into the back of the enemy team, you can at least try to survive for a little bit, make them blow some cooldowns, and then hopefully your team has something ready to go by the time you could pop out.
Alrighty, let's see what we get from Team Exodia now. They already have so much displacement with the knockback from Junkrat and Yrel, so they don't go for a displacement tank. They go for a disrupt. They go for a protection tank. They get the Tyrael here, keeping that back line alive against the Cassia because they have more than enough CC. Junkrat's making up Tyrael slack here.
I really like this if you are in the Entomb at level 10. After level 20, it becomes a little bit sketchier, but if somebody gets into the Entomb, you can go ahead, throw in that sword, get the Sanct off. We're going to see Hanzo and Mei come in to round out Chilly Mountain's draft. Dude who abides, thank you very much for the biddies. How many we got here? 1,
600.
2, 3, 4, 600 biddies. Very appreciated. Very
appreciated indeed. As a reminder, as this last pick comes in for Team Exodia, if you're enjoying the show, for starters, !Matcherino. This is the grand final, so if you want to contribute to the prize pool for Storm Division, now is the time. And if you're enjoying our cast tonight, any subs or bits donated tonight go directly to the casters. So everything is appreciated, as we're all full-time streamers, and therefore another word for broke. As Tassadar is the final pickup. More disruption. If they go Holy Ground, this might be one of the most annoying teams to ever exist.
Oh man, this is going to be a rough one. See if there are any swaps before we get started. And just to add on to that Matcherino, like Tetcher said, this is the last opportunity to do it. Friendly reminder that 100% of the donations to the Matcherino go to the players. NGS doesn't use it for staff. They don't use it for casters. They don't use it for tournament fees, whatever that may be. They don't have a parent company to pay for this, and still 100% will go to them. So if you want to support these players, if you love where they've come from and how they fought tooth and nail to get here, then please !Matcherino. You can also !Patreon to help out NGS and allow them to continue putting on these fantastic tournaments for as little as $1 a month.
Feels good. Patreon to support NGS, Matcherino to support the players, and bits and donations during Storm Division to support the casters. On the right-hand side, as we head into Tomb of the Spider Queen, it shall be Chilly Mountain, with Mesa Blaze on Deckard, Roger on the Cassia, Xenorus on Leoric, Tremor back on that Mei, and Infrared will be playing the Hanzo.
And over here on the left-hand side, we've got Team Exodia. Cookie Man once again on that Junkrat. Nasmus is going to be your Yrel. Hot's on the Stukov. Red Robot is your Tyrael. And Kevin playing that Tassadar.
Let's get it going. Let's have a look, see if we have any interesting level 1s. This is going to be another Sapphire build, so we'll either see one of the Cube talents on level 7 or the Emerald. I don't think we will see Ruby, though, as Wedge has gifted a sub to with extra dip. What a name, by the way. And as such, the hype train has started. Choo-choo, the hype train has begun for the grand finals, as Tremor takes quite a bit of damage.
Pendle Bot, thank you very much also for the 200 bits. You guys are so wonderful. We appreciate you very much. Everybody get sorted for this game number 3. Head into their lanes, doing their chores, as I always like to call it. Stukov and Tyrael scouting out, making it as difficult as possible to move through these lanes. No fun for anybody. Tremor gonna try and give it back, as Red Robot gonna get caught in that Scroll the ceiling, though. However, Tyrael so slippery. And I guess that's how you could deal with Junkrat. You know, just play Tyrael.
Roger was very nearly able to chase down Red Robot there with that fend, but the lurking arm just catching Cassia before she chased Red Robot to the end of that Eldrain's might. This is Covey. Thank you very much for the 100 bits, as well as Red Robot grabbing the gems, using Eldrain's might to escape, make sure they don't get caught out of position and don't lose those precious, precious gems as bruises are started for both teams.
Everybody just racing around, trying to find a little bit of extra soak. Bottom camp hasn't been taken yet. We're going to see Cookie Man and Hots, who have a little bit more of a difficult time taking camps. This is going to be one of the weaker points of the composition of Team Exodia. Finally finish that off. However, Hanzo and Deckard are in the same boat, especially if you leave Deckard on the point to finish it himself. So a little bit longer of a delay there. In fact, they might actually be delaying it for real. Finally is capped. May gonna try and help clear this out. Meanwhile, bottom camp started by Exodia, but not finished as it was quickly scouted out by Infrared there.
They back away, not wanting to take the risk. This is exactly why Mason Blaze capped that. They wanted to Chilly Mountain wanted to try and invade that camp. Nice little route and the stun follow-up. The lovely Deckard May combo makes any area fight so hard for Exodia. And once they have that level 7 though, that Swift Retribution, they will have the opportunity to try and avoid and get out of those engages effectively. Force Wall is dropped, trying to focus onto Nasmus. Good drain from Xenorus, but not enough to finish off a kill. No kills in this game.
Very nicely done by the teams, able to avoid getting caught out there. Again, Tomb of the Spider Queen is an interesting map because there are plenty of chances to team fight, but you want to do so as little as possible unless a turn-in is available. Almost available for both teams, sitting at nearly the same amount of points. Oh, Kevin, very, very low, has to back out. One of the difficulties of playing Tassadar into these very coordinated teams is the fact you have to stand still for so long, and there are a lot of things to punish standing still. This will be seen later on should Cassia opt to go Valkyrie at level 10. Just in general, standing still can be so rough. You're just waiting for Tassadar to use that shock ray. You jump on him. Can be a rough time.
Very true. Gonna have to keep mobile, keep moving, and, well, they do have a couple ways to do that. Cassia, for example, could get that little bit of extra movement speed on the other side, though. Swift Retribution will help. It's going to be an interesting matchup trying to avoid it. May is the one who's potentially in the most danger from concussion mines due to the fact that she is locked in place while in that cryostasis. That should be fun to see if she can play around that. As we do see, there it is, that Swift Retribution.
Everybody backing up right now. Out comes the Force Wall. Tremor has to retreat back to the middle lane. Good dodge coming out. Again, everyone looking to turn in right now. We see a little bit more control for Chilly Mountain down here in the bottom lane. Top couple of lanes being controlled by Exodia here.
With the stream delays, we do see the engage onto Kevin. He will survive. There's only going to be about 15 seconds left on that hype train. We're at 88% as the engage did happen. Let's see if we can get it to 100, to that level 2, as Roger will be chased down. We'll back away, though.
Gonna try and find Cassia, but with the armor and not taking the War Traveler, going for the Surge of Light and the Inner Light, able to do tons of damage to get away with the 30 armor, pumping it out, opting for the Thunderstroke this time around, sitting at 18 stacks. So a hero that will soak very well into the later game. Leo going to do the same thing. And then Deckard can Hanzo finish their simple geometry, just looking to see what is going to stack and if the scaling may outweigh Team Exodia right now.
Thank you for the 100 bits, 200 bits from Roll. We, with 4 seconds left, completed the hype trade. We're on to level 2. Xenorus might not be on to the next level as he's forced to back up, but he will survive once again. Still, no kills. Both teams fighting tooth and nail for this. Cookie Man takes a little bit of damage, but no one can find the kills yet. This might be a level 10 first blood.
Both teams are dead, even the offlaners. Beautifully done, knowing when to jump up, when to head back down to that bottom lane, not missing a smidgen of soak there. We always like to call them the coolest and most attractive players on the team. They forego screen time so that we can have XP. So, headed back down to that bottom lane. Meanwhile, the rest of the team doing their favorite job, soaking those minions. Gonna look around now. We are getting quite close to the turn-in. Members of Chili Mountain much closer, looking to opt into this bottom lane. Great interrupt there by Hot with that lurking arm. Level 10 is online, a second first for Exodia. We do have Judgment coming out from Tyrael.
Valkyrie hits onto the Junkrat Stayer one, and listen, Cookie Man going to be blasted. Roger very nearly walking into the total mayhem, but will escape. There's the Entomb to follow up onto Hots. Where is this Judgment? Might have to be dropped as Hanzo goes down, making this a 1-for-1. Hots tanks through. There's the Judgment right before the Force Wall, and that completely shuts down Cassia. Red Robot with no mana gets away thanks to the body block of Kevin. A great fight, barely won by Team Exodia.
This should be their web weavers going, and you can see Nasmus turning in right now. Xenarius and Tremor are going to try and grab the siege camp, deep push this, and what a fight, Tetcher. It looked like it could go either way for just a second. Team Exodia getting picked off right out the gate. Cookie Man, of all people, that shuts you down, getting hit by the stay a while, and listen, not able to jump out of that fight. Dragon Strike coming out. We typically don't see Dragon Strike. Beautiful Valkyrie to start things off. Unfortunately, wasn't enough there as Hanzo did end up going down, and then the judgment from Tyrael was just devastating.
It was absolutely beautiful as we do see Tremor once again being forced to burn that cryostasis, tanking through. That spell armor, you mentioned it before, on the level 4 is really helping out. Tremor is getting a lot of extra tankiness out of this. Right now, standing also in that Bruiser camp helps us. They do clear mid. Webweaver's slain, no forts taken. There's the Dragon Strike. They don't land anyone on that, but they do get the Entomb onto Kevin. Gonna try and chase him down with the great stun from Tremor with the Blizzard. They try to push forward, but Mason, Blaze, and Roger are zoned away by Nasmus, who saves the day.
Biotic armor coming in so clutch there for Kevin, keeping him alive just enough to get off that bio kill switch. And now we are going to see Judgment come out, doesn't connect. Cookie Man in a devastating position underneath the fort is going to go down there. Great use of the avalanche by Tremor. A little bit of payback for game number 2, gonna make his life hell.
That was a very interesting engage there by the side of Team Exodia. The follow-up just was not there. It wasn't on point. They tried to get the kills as we do finally see the turn-in being achieved by Chili Mountain. Nasmus trying to set up onto Tremor. Wraithwalk gets Xenarus out of the way. In fact, let's have a look at the replay. The Judgment dropped very effectively once the fight ends, as they did look for the turnaround. But look at the follow-up from Junkrat, and very importantly, look at the follow-up from the Stukov. Neither of them landing their abilities effectively. Not centered by Junkrat, and angled by Junkrat to knock people into the backline, and not centered by Stukov. Neither one able to get the effective engage to set that up for Exodia. And as such, Chili Mountain escaped, got the turn, and they were able to finally get their turn in as they try to siege onto mid.
Gonna do a little bit of damage in that middle lane here. Out comes the Dragon Strike. Really more for zoning than anything else. Webweaver going to push down with the Death Wave. It's not long for this world, so will finally perish. Tyrael gonna go in with the Judgment. Yrel here as well. Holy Ground is online. Flailing Swipes coming out as well. Going to be a rough team fight. There goes the Entomb, however. Oh my gosh, so much happening right now. Avalanche coming out. Damn, heroes going down left, right, and center. Tyrael gonna be the first to fall. Yrel with that Ardent Defender will stay alive for the moment. And every single heroic ability was used in that fight. Only Tyrael going down. Really? I don't have words, Tetcher.
Tyrael being the only person to dive in that fight is ridiculous. Diving in, once again, a very deep judgment to try and take out Cookie Man. But Cookie Man, so tanky, able to survive those fights. Able to just walk away and stay alive. Tremor in a little bit of trouble, gets to a potion. The Holy Ground, like you said, even attempted, but the fact is all that follow-up damage was completely shut down by Xenarus, who got a beautiful Entomb. I'm sure Roger was very annoyed that they... Infrared was very annoyed that they did not have that Dragon Strike up.
Did seem a little bit of a scuff there, but still got the kill. We're able to get ahead. Very happy with that. Meanwhile, we are going to see Team Exodia take the trade here, as with all those ultimates being down, had to back out a little bit. And again, great entomb there by Xenaris. Just the sheer amount of panic I feel that comes to your mind as a player when you get entombed. You have to start focusing on yourself as opposed to what everyone else is. And a lot of engages do end up going missed there. This middle web weaver going to be immediately shut down. Urel gets a great knockback, and Tomb comes out once again, only onto the mobile characters without any silence. Does mean they're able to jump out. Nasmus giving Xenaris a good weapon just for measure's sake, or they continue to push in here. Top in trouble, middle in trouble, bottom not so much. They're going to be able to take care of it relatively easily.
And kills going in favor of Chili Mountain, but their structures are beginning to fall behind. They have enough for another turn, and in fact, they have enough for 2 more turn-ins after this. But the fact is, they do lose the first structure, dropping that middle fort. We see the quick attempted turn-in from Team Exodia. This is how they stop the turnaround for Chili Mountain. They keep their momentum going, but they don't get it fast enough. Chili Mountain just able to get those gems in to prevent Exodia from running in with that momentum.
It's honestly amazing because I was prepared for another Exodia web weaver. I looked and I was like, wait, he's saying the wrong. And then I was like, oh, it is red team who does have these web weavers. Top lane is going to go down beforehand though, so this is going to be more of a defensive push. And this is one of the most common ways we see Tomb of the Spider Queen played. Out comes the Judgment. There's the knockback. Not a whole lot gained from it. In fact, Flailing Swipe's coming out as well. Hod's in insane amounts of trouble, going to try and heal himself up. Not enough. Out comes the Valkyrie, does not connect. And what was supposed to be a defensive turn ends up being much more valuable for Chili Mountain. They're going to be able to come in here. They have that level 16. They push down this middle tower. Web Weaver's still looking quite strong in all 3 lanes, looking for this keep wall.
They begin to push their way in with 16s available for both teams. Like you said, Teriel, he found himself in a position where he had to use his Eldarin's Might to get out of danger and got punished for it. Kevin, now completely isolated, burns the Archon to try and survive, but instead gets deleted. Over 12 gems dropped here. Red Robot will just run it in to pick him up and will get out alive. Gems recovered, but a devastating kill again, staggering the deaths as Chili Mountain begin to extend their lead. They're literally waiting for the Web Weavers to die so they can get the boss. Bit early there, in fact, by Infrared.
They knew there wasn't much more they could do. They'd burn their combo. It's going to be back up here in a moment. Avalanche, the only thing down. Out comes the the Judgment. And Tomb as well, though. There is that Dragon Strike, and Junkrat going to be the first to fall down. Xenaris is living forever. Nasmus trying to run away, has to pop the Ardent Defender finally. Did not want to waste that big cooldown, jumps over the wall, is gone. I wouldn't say waste, didn't want to use is a better word to say, because they lived, so value. The ultimate did exactly what it was supposed to.
Junkrat was taken out. The boss was leashed, though, so Exodia stopping potential keep pressure. But more's going to keep coming in, though, because here comes turn-in number 3 from Chili Mountain. That's going to be pressure onto the keeps with a man advantage and a bruiser that was started and aggroed by Infrared. They're going to just leave him to do it solo. He is Scatter Arrow build, but without the important talent at level 4. But with the healing of Mason Blaze, they will be able to take it, and everyone else will be topped up for mana and health.
So before Chili Mountain decided to fight for 9 minutes straight, what I was talking about was one of the ways that many of the higher level players play Tomb of the Spider Queen is to just try and prevent one team from turning in consistently, and that's what we see a lot of Team Exodia trying to do, as once again they are fighting. There was the Entomb, out goes that Scroll of Sealing, not going to find anybody yet. But the flip side of that is if you can't prevent them from turning in for too long, we will see, teams that are stacked up with 100 gems as outcomes. The Valkyrie, a lot happening right now. Archon is pushed. Stay wild and listen. Very, very good. Tacit are going to be the first to fall down. Holy Ground saves Cookie Man for just a while. 61 gems on Red Robot. Does not want to die. Jumps back in. Tries to get Nasmus out. Going to sacrifice their life for it. Oh, man. Not as Nasmus able to pick up the gem. 71 on top of him. And now we're seeing the exact same thing happen to Team Exodia. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, they lost right here. They've lost Tassadar, they've lost Tyrael. They're going to lose this keep. There's a ton of damage coming in.
It looks like Chili Mountain, though, not going to go for the end. They're looking for gems. 75. You don't want to stack all your gems on one person, which is exactly what we saw going down with the kill on Tyrael. But now there's even more gems on one person with Nasmus. And that's what Chili Mountain were looking for. They want to try and pressure a keep. They wanted to try and kill the gems. They don't get either, though. Good zoning by Exodia. And round 2, baby. The boss is going to be started. Tyrael will be back in 5 seconds. With Holy Ground, Junkrat does have Concussion Mine, but neither will be able to get up there in time safely. And as such, they don't bother. Chili Mountain will get this boss. And we see Exodia grabbing themselves a bruiser.
They're just going to try and de-push here a little bit, doing damage control. Web Weavers and boss. This is going to be a immense battle for Exodia if they want to try and stay here. You know, some might call GG right now, depending on what they can do. We can see Nasmus trying to prevent any more damage coming. Actually ends up being the Web Weavers here for the members of Exodia, so it will help with the boss a little bit.
It was a nice little sneak turn in there by Nasmus to save that, as the boss will be defended.
They're actually going to get away fairly with not a whole lot of scratches coming here. However, Nasmus has to use the Ardent Defender. Does not have level 20 yet. Going to jump through. Tries to get away. That is going to be Yrel going down.
Gets completely sniped out here. Here's the focus onto Red Robot. Not going to be enough to achieve a kill here. Level 20 still not available for Exodia right now.
Playing it slow. They have to be careful. Yrel being down is just making this so much harder for them. Getting these picks makes it just... Chili Mountain is presenting themselves. Gosh, I don't know. Level 20 is here. That's the main point. We do have another turn in coming in for Chili Mountain. We'll see if they can't end with this, because this is really kind of their last chance to get their Web Weaver, and otherwise they're going to have to go for that long, sometimes, you know, 45-minute Tomb of the Spider Queen that we see.
They just burnt a lot of stuff on trying to kill Mei, and Mei survived. The sustain is good. Their strategy is sound. Holy Ground people into that Lurking Arm. Use the Force Wall to keep people in that Lurking Arm and in that Tassadar damage. But in this case, they weren't able to get the kill again. The spell armor from this Mei, too good, by the way. Mei, level 20, went for Cascade this time. Didn't even need the extra sustain, but there's a better chance of engage now because Tyrael went for the cooldown action on the stun, but there's the Valkyrie into the Respect the Elderly. But Tass still able to sneak out. Kevin will get deleted by Roger, though.
Cookie Man pushed away, not able to do much in this fight. The Holy Ground comes out. They're trying to get Hots out, but he is going to go down. That's another member going to the grave. Cookie Man just has 45 health, make it 0. That is 3 members down, just the front line left to survive, and this should be game number 3 heading over to Chili Mountain.
Judgment used. They're trying to deal with the damage dealers, trying to buy some time, but there goes Tyrael, leaving just Nasmus alive to try and defend this. He's not even next to his core, which will be going down. GG is called, and game number 3 will be going over to Chili Mountain. They are now on match point.
We have a series on our hand. Tetcher so back and forth. Really excited to see that we did end up seeing Chili Mountain scale. They had a rough early game, were able to pull it back. And the point I was trying to make before they kept fighting is, if you can't keep holding on to, just don't let them turn in. Just don't let them turn in. Don't let them turn in, which Exodia were doing for quite a long time before finally it all started to just fall apart. Is then they're left there with 100 gems, and they can get those repeated turn-ins, and then it ends up being you who are playing on the back foot, trying to find a way out of this. That's kind of what ended up happening here, and Team Exodia just couldn't crawl back from it.
Exactly. Exodia, they had a really interesting setup where they just wanted to play disruptive, But that composition did not work out in their favor. They didn't actually have enough burst damage, and that is always a risk when you have a Junkrat. Junkrat is fantastic at a lot of things, but when it comes to actually killing his target, his one trick is Riptire. Tassadar makes up for that a little, but if he cannot get his Qs out, which is very reliant on the target being held still and also being weak enough to finish them off, then he can struggle. The kill potential for Exodia a little bit too low to deal with the main engaged target, which in this case was Mei, and you can see that with the fact that Mei had 0 deaths. The only deaths were onto Cassia and Hanzo, who were picked off once each during that game, but the frontliners, they didn't have enough damage to deal with, and they never got close to Deckard.
It's really interesting to see such a heavy engage comp. I thought for sure this was going to be a sanctification. You wait for Mei to engage onto you. You know, Hanzo, Leo, you jump in, you sank, you can protect the team. Deckard was the first pick, and now we see kind of the same issue from game number 2, this time on the side of Team Exodia. They have the Deckard. They go for the Judgment. They want to kill with the Tyrael, with the Uriel, but like you said, they didn't have enough damage. The Stay Wild and Listen just consistently shutting down any attempt at an engage, and as a result, Team Exodia just couldn't hold up. As the game went on longer and longer, they weren't able to find the kills, they weren't able to get the XP leads they were looking for, and they just slowly suffered.
Absolutely. So we're waiting to see what our next map will be, which will be potentially match point. Chili Mountain could take this in their next series. Exodia, they are fighting from behind, but it is still doable.
I'm curious whether they'll go for map pick or first pick. So far, I believe every team has picked the map, if I'm correct. I don't have to tally up right in front of me.
No. Oh, wait, every team that's lost has picked the map, or every team that's won has picked the map? Because Infernal Shrines was picked and won by Chile. Game to which won, which then they picked Praxis Holdout, which Exodia won. And then Tomb of the Spider Queen was picked by Exodia and then won by Chili Mountain. So, yeah, the team that has picked the map outside of Game 1 has lost.
Huh.
So, here we go. We have our 4th and potentially last map of the day, but we are going to have a very quick bio break so that the players have a quick chance to have a delay, and so that we have a chance to deal with our human needs as well. So don't go anywhere, everybody. We'll be back with game number 4 in just a quick moment. And of course, quick reminder, if you're enjoying the cast, ! Matcherino to support the players, ! Patreon to support NGS, and subs and bits to support us casters. Don't go anywhere. See you all in a bit.
Bye.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. The draft, Jinxie's disappeared again, fixing that. There we go. It's a one-button fix. It's good. We had a quick DC. Something went wrong. So we have okay, so we're not starting yet, which is good because I can show you the maps. Let's have a look. For starters, welcome back to Nexus Gaming Series Storm Division. I am Tetcher, this is Jinxie, and we are your finals commentators. Let's have a look at what our next map is going to be.
Alrighty, this is one of my personal favorites. We're going over to Battlefield of Eternity. This is a great map that does combine a lot of swift decision-making, defense, offense, camp timings. Where is the minion wave? So many things to think about despite only being 2 maps. I feel like I'm saying I'm really hyped for all of these, but I have been thinking about this since we were informed of the final date like 2 weeks ago. So now that it's finally here, I'm just like super. My blood is pumping.
Likewise, it is very exciting. So it looks like we might have a lobby bug. We'll see in a moment. Here's a quick reminder as to how these teams made it to this point. Last time these two teams fought, Team Exodia were able to take down Chili Mountain in a 3-2. The first time they fought, they were able to take down Chili Mountain in a 3-1. So Chili Mountain, every time these two teams have gone up against each other, have taken one more map each time. In theory, that means this should be the one they win. But Team Exodia, they have the chance to make their way back in as the draft has begun.
So, there are a couple of different ways that you can play Battlefield of Eternity. The more standard way that we've seen almost since the inception of the map is just to take some heroes who race really, really well. Something like Vala, Greymane, our fantastic Li Ming. Lunara has fallen off, but still a very effective hero. You take something like that, as Cassie is immediately banned out, so you won't be seeing her. And you just try to race it down as fast as you can. The new way we've been seeing it played a little bit more, it's like a team fight comp who runs in, tries and gets everybody killed, because it doesn't matter how poor your race is, if they're dead, they can't contest you.
Very, very true. We see a lot of that. We see a lot of rushing in. We see a lot of poke-based teams. We still do see races. We still do see race-based team to try and just win the Immortals, but they are a little bit rare, as you say. We'll see if that is still the same now that Medallion is gone. One of the top heroes for this map has yet to be banned out. Chromie, still available in the pool. Which team will pull the trigger? It will be Team Exodia, despite having first pick.
They do not want to deal with that poke. Now, maybe because they have something else in mind. Karazim gonna be banned out. That makes sense. Hotza, if you have seen any of these games ever at all, you've probably seen Hotza's Karazim, and you know it is oppressive. It gets in. He's not even one of the damage dealers, and you're like, all right, well, you know, the Raider's dead, the Cassie is dead, the Karazim is not dead, and we're like, all right, let's just stay in base.
Yep, 100% win rate over 3 games on that Karazim. It's a very fair choice. Great for race. It's a solid pickup and a solid ban. As we will see Li Ming and Deckard, both fantastic heroes for the map. Very exciting to see that popping up. It's also good race to try and match that Reyna. Li Ming, of course, a little bit longer range, so can poke effectively, but also will still do very effective race if left alone.
So for everything that Hotza's Karazim is, I feel Mason Blaze's Deckard is. And I'm honestly surprised that folks are still letting him have it, because we saw exactly in that last game just how talented Mason Blaze is on the hero. However, this is something that could potentially solve that. D.Va and Diablo are able to dive the back line, able to get on the old man fairly quickly. A lot of people forget that Deckard is a bruiser too. He's not listed as one, but if he can just endlessly hit his potions, he lives forever. So maybe something like an auto attack Diablo with the resets on the overpower could put an end to that.
Yeah, Red Robot finally unleashed onto that Diablo. We'll see how that works. That's a smart ban. Tyrande Diablo is a very old combo, and now with no cleanse on the board due to Deckard being the support and no medallions, this old style combo of Tyrande as a follow-up to any hard CC engaged tank is even deadlier than it was in the last few months. So a very sensible ban away by Chili Mountain.
Johanna is also really good on the map because she can use her trait on the Immortal, making it burn even faster. I like the Tychus ban. I think that's very smart. It is one of the counters to Diablo because anytime you go in, he can pop the minigun and then you have to go out. He melts you so very quickly. Same thing with D.Va, so no more Tychus.
Very sensible bans from both these teams, really thinking each other out at this point. Imperius gonna make it in one more time, and they bring the Blaze as well, making up for Imperius' slightly lower health pool. As Steve, thank you for the 1,000 bits, very appreciated. If you're enjoying our cast, all bits and subs are here to support the casters. Medivh, who's been ignored in this series so far, is gonna make an appearance. And that is terrifying.
Thank you so very much, Steve. We appreciate you immensely. Medivh, this is one of the heroes that, kind of goes hand in hand with the Chromie ban. This is the Miracle Worker, the hero that makes magic happen. It was banned out in the last series, I believe. Don't quote me on that. That was like 25 minutes ago.
It's an eternity.
Basically. Ooh, Deathwing. Now, this is going to be interesting, because with the Medivh, Diablo can engage on you from any angle and doesn't even have to use the Shadow Charge to get in. He can use the Shadow Charge after they go through the portal, and if he Shadow Charges in, he can get out. So, lots of combos also with the Leyline Seal and the APOC. It's an old classic. Deathwing, however, does put a stop to that. Anytime the portal comes in, he can use the Bellowing Roar to shoot everybody away, and if the Leyline APOC combo comes out, he's not affected by the APOC.
Alrighty, we have
Wing
our
time,
picks.
thank you for the 69 bits.
Thank you very much indeed. As a reminder, those do go to support the casters. If you want to support the players, though, this could be the last match of the series if Chilly Mountain win with this triple frontline. So make sure you hit !Matcherino and donate to reward these players for putting on some incredible games for you. And of course, !Patreon, so that you can support NGS in all that they do. For now, for us, it is time for game number 4 as we're heading in.
Alrighty, let's get started for, as you said, Tetcher, potentially the last game of the evening, the last game of Storm Division Season 1. Over here on the right-hand side, we have Team Chilly Mountain. Roger going to be on that Li Ming. Tremor is your Imperius. Mason Blaze on that Deckard Cain. Deathwing played by Infrared. And that's everybody.
And on the left-hand side, in the blue, Team Exodia looking to begin their comeback. Nasmus will be playing this D.Va. The 4-man in the bot lane, Kevin on the Reyna, Cookie Man on the Medivh, Red Robot on the Red Diablo, and Hots, aka Toby, going to be playing the Malfurion. Blaze, interesting, we see another 4-man start top lane from Chilly Mountain. Second time this tournament. Second time this match. And Xena, starting with a very interesting level 1 talent, went for Endurance Stim Pack. Gonna go for a little bit of self-sustain. Not gonna go for the expected talent in this case, which would have been the new habits to give himself a self-cleanse.
So, just Xenar is hanging down here by himself. Everybody's going to try and push down a little bit as we see Medivh actually headed up with D.Va. Imperius has gone for that Impaling Light at level 1. So the more they consume those brand charges, the more they will be able to stab, allowing him just to consistently go in time after time after time will allow for these muddy fights around this terrain to be very difficult for Diablo to engage on.
Xena is just holding for the moment, delaying. We're seeing a classic ranged Deathwing build. There's not a huge amount of burst from the other team that's going to threaten him too much, so went with the Molten Blood, getting that 0.6% max health regen, which is a big chunk for Deathwing, who is a chunky boy. So having that extra health regen is going to be a big deal for him, and he will build into the Molten Breath build, with Infernus and Conflagration being two of the big talent tiers for that.
Teams are looking good so far. There is that portal. We're going to see if maybe we can't have an engage here. Now, you're touching on this Deathwing build. The one that you mentioned is personally my favorite build. just because it does do so much damage. The spread is fantastic. Diva and Diablo have some really big hitboxes, so it's easy to hit. And then, of course, they can send it back to the back line. With Medivh and everybody going through the portal should make it even more effective. So we'll have to see as they continue on throughout the game.
Shots poking in, Xenorus clearing out that siege camp. One tower was taken out. Level 4's on the line. The meltdown for the Blaze. If he gets engaged on, he's going to make it miserable. We've got that endurance impact giving him a lot of sustain and giving him that meltdown as well for damage reduction. He's all about filling in the health role that Tremor doesn't have by just being as tanky as possible. Whereas Tremor on that Imperius brings out the Sovereign Armor. That will help with the tankiness and will wombo into the armor reduction on level 13.
Everybody getting in position for these Immortals. Chili Mountain have the early lead on that, so Medivh peeks in, see what's going on, decides it's not for him, gonna back away before heading on, and now everybody looking for this race. Diablo stepping up is going to try and find Tremor here. Fighting under the opponent's Immortal is risky. And after Rainer Malfurion and Medivh go down, that is the Master's Touch reset. And exactly why. Fighting underneath those stuns can be incredibly punishing.
Absolutely devastating. They even look for Diablo here underneath their own Immortal, who'll be caught by the stun. They don't actually have any of their damage dealers with them now, so they're purely reliant on Blaze and Imperius, but those two do quite a bit of damage. They're looking for a Red Robot, but Tremor is out of mana. Red Robot will survive as the halftime show is achieved. Let's see that engage again, as we do see the positioning was taken aggressively. Red Robot looking for the angle, but it all came down to Infrared with a huge blow-up and the perfect positioning from Roger from below for the orbs to get that double reset. As in the May game, Cataclysm just got burned to try and race this Immortal.
So easily enough, this is going to be going over to the side of Chili Mountain. This is one of their best maps, looking so dominant as we continue on towards level 7. Immortal, not the healthiest shield, but still enough to most likely get that front tower, maybe even the front wall, depending on how Chili Mountain play this. Remember, the Immortal does stay in ranged mode as long as it has the shield. Once it loses the shield, it does become a melee siege monster. So teams will have to be careful of that. Imperius goes in with the stab. Malfurion able to put the root underneath him. One of the big shutdowns to Imperius. But nobody seems to have told Tremor that. He gets the stab, he backs out, and now he's looking for more.
They're just trying to keep people in place, let Infrared do his thing. He's got that Infernus now, that extra damage. Conflagration will be the biggest power spike. Tremor backs away, doesn't want to fight Red Robot yet. Instead, turns onto EKEV and will take the fort aggro, but the fort is already taken out. Portal being burned to disengage. They are too scared of that heavy CC engage.
Team Exodia just not able to step up at all into the Deathwing. A really smart final choice, even when they are able to. That backline so very punished by the Molten Breath, you know, zoning them away. No follow-up for anything that the tanks can throw down. And as such, it's just really difficult to get much of anything done here. We're going to see Chili Mountain take this top camp here. Bottom will be secured by Exodia. And now back to clearing, as you do, the most important part of the game. That's why we always touch on it super hard. It's just Eva here by herself. Camp clear, not the greatest, so we may see this go down, unless she burns the bomb for it. Diablo rotating super fast. Tremor taking lots of damage. Medivh is here. There is the portal. They're chasing down Mason Blaze, though. One of the best Decker Canes in North America is in trouble, actually. Gets flipped by Diablo. Xenorus, though, with the oil, slows him down, and nobody from Chili Mountain will be going down red.
Mason Blaze and Xenorus making it like they were covered in oil there and finding the tiniest gaps to slip through to get past Red Robot. They will be able to disengage. No kills acquired. 0 kills for Team Exodia so far compared to 3 for Chili Mountain, who will hit level 10 first. Big thank you to Tigerfish, by the way, for the 500 bits and to Starlight for the 169 bits. Xenorus will get flipped into the root, but EKEV doesn't have a high enough damage output to finish the job yet.
as they go on, I suspect this will become easier for Exodia, especially with having the auto attack Diablo. He does do a pretty decent amount of damage, one of the highest damage tanks in the game. We'll see that come online a little bit later. D.Va actually also going for that hit the Nitrous, getting the extra speed. The stun will help to continue shutting them down. Camps are being taken, Immortals being raced down, and this time we are going to see, once again, the members of Team Exodia having to defend.
Body block the chonk, he's forced to burn Cataclysm to escape. Infrared will live, as Red Robot tried to come in as well. Tremor, look for the backline engagement. It comes in from Xenorus. The Great Celestial Charge for the follow-up. But if we do see Deathwing taken out of the backline by Nasmus as Roger is zoned out. That is the leyline seal with Apocalypse follow-up. Big stun onto Imperius. Kevin's doing all the damage he can, but the bunker is here to try and save Tremor.
They're jumping in and out, trying to avoid many of these big cooldowns, able to do so. But here is Nasmus stepping on top of everybody. And don't forget about Red Robot pushing their way back in, just bullying the members of Chili Mountain. D.Va Mech going to go down. Raynor very, very low, will fall to Li Ming's combo. That's another reset for her. Only members able to get out. Baby D.Va and Diablo, of course, who are going to look to race here.
Exodia keep alive. They get some kills on the board, but the turnaround was too good. They were able to get that first kill, but after that, they can't seem to kill anyone as a team. It was just D.Va alone who found that kill onto Deathwing, who is now back revived, full armor, and ready to jump into the fight again. This has been a little bit difficult. Cookie Man looking to try and do some damage here. He's on 100. He's on 37 stacks. There's the bellowing roar. Nasmus on the backline, just causing so much grief for Roger. Kevin not in the great spot here.
He's trying to run away. Needs to get to that portal. It's so hard to dodge. The outcomes to stay a while and listen. Cataclysm to follow up. Bunker is also dropped just for safety. That is going to be Malfurion going down. Cookie Man opting to save the stacks. Does finish the quest there. D.Va Bomb mixed with the ley line, only hitting Tremor, who's fairly healthy, able to get away. Just a tickle. However, Spin from the Immortal being the real MVP here, doing the most damage so far for Exodia in this team fight.
It's a big delay tactic, though. They're using Nasmus and Red Robot to try and delay this. Cookie Man has very low health, but Kevin was able to sneak off and grab a little bit of that Immortal damage off Red Robot through the portal. Just a trickle of health left, but will survive. Kevin wrapping around, trying to avoid the members of Chili Mountain. He's just trying to use that Exterminator to race as the rest of his team keep zoning. Fountains ticked by everyone on Chili Mountain except for Mason, who had to port all the way back.
I really want to give commendation to Red Robot there. It's such a small thing, but the snap reaction to use the portal. He's going to go in, look for Tremor here. There's the stab onto Medivh. Immediately Force of Will coming out. Tries to use the portal, but there is the... Oh, goodbye! As quickly as he goes. Tries to go through the portal, but the scroll of ceiling shuts it down. Li Ming with the Wave of Force finishes it off. Should be Red Robot as well. Stay a while and listen once again. Not needed, but just for good measure. Make sure Diablo doesn't get back. Had the souls, will come back. This is going to be another Chili Mountain Immortal.
They're trying to save it, though. Li Ming is currently racing against Exodia, who are sieging Nasmus, maybe giving his life for this. He'll get the Immortal. Can he get out? Immortal goes over to Exodia. Nasmus buying as much time as possible. His thrusters all be up, and he boosts away. What a steal by Exodia, but they are still over a full level behind.
I thought for sure after those kills, Chili Mountain were able to clean up. They have the Immortal now, though. It's a lot of busy work for them to have to clean this. This is most likely going to be a pretty free clear for Chili Mountain. Able to push it away. They have level 13, so very difficult for Exodia to fight into it. Already at quarter health, just gets the wall. Medivh in the Raven form, keeping an eye on everybody.
Tremor.
They don't get much with this at all.
Yeah, they get the front wall, they get a good chunk of health off the fort, but in the grand scheme of things, that fort still being alive is a pretty rough objective for Team Exodia, who would really love that trickle XP to try and catch up right now. Instead, we see them step back onto the map. In the meantime, sneaky Nasmus grabbing them a camp in bot lane, but that does mean a numbers advantage will be in favor of Chili Mountain, as we do see Blaze on the way up top. What a blink from Roger to dodge the charge of Red Robot. Leyline Seal comes out, but Infrared with Bellowing Roar, and it's just a roasting range now as they try to get onto Red Robot, but he is too tanky.
Great use of the portal by Exodia. Almost caught in that route there. Everybody through the portal at the same time. Elbows flying, shove their way out, and managed to make it past. As such, camps are traded. Teams are just going to head down to their lanes, clear them out, maybe look for some additional value here. Now, this would pay off in favor of Chili Mountain, as it would be fort for keep. However, stepping up there is incredibly aggressive, so they look to just defend this top fort.
Nasmus, Force of will eat a couple shots from that fort. They still have a couple minions left, but it's a lot of damage. Red Robot getting roasted. No conflagration left, so it's not so bad, but it's still a lot of damage. That Infernus will still chunk. But once that conflagration happens, Team Exodia, they're playing very grouped, and they will be punished if they keep that up. They do have that Enduring Will, which will help a lot. That cooldown reduction on Force of will block a lot of that damage, but they've gotta be able to take these fights a little better here, because they are getting zoned way too hard.
As they continue, hopefully they'll be able to scale up a little bit more. They will have some more percentage damage here in a little bit for Raynor, assuming he goes the talent. D.Va does have a little bit herself, 2% every time she's able to hit somebody with a boost. Cataclysm comes out, D.Va back comes out. Nasmus able to hop back in for a moment. They defend the Immortal for now, but Chili Mountain looking to come in once again, trying to find the flank around. Through the fort is incredibly risky. That's why everybody goes back through the portal, not trying to step up there. Cookie Man already pretty chunked out, has to step away. Roger chunking away, one of the best Li Ming players in NGS, or North America in general. Big Group comes out onto Red Robot through the portal, running for his life. Meanwhile, in the bottom, Nasmus also being chunked. The rest of the backline so split from their front, hoping they can do anything. Meanwhile, Kevin is helping.
Hey, Kevin did actually do a lot. He took all of that percentage off the Immortal himself and will now save the Bruiser from pushing into the keep. But right now, the race, because of the zoning potential of Chili Mountain, will be won by Chili Mountain. Kevin will not be able to get there in time to stop this, as we do see the Immortal going over to Chili Mountain. Great play, Exodia. They do look to try and set themselves up. Portal. They found Mesa Blaze, but a great stunt from Xenorus to keep Mesa Blaze alive. They can't land him on the APOC. Bunker is down, and Blaze is inside.
Need to make something happen here. They're not level 16, so they got to do it quick. There is that Leyline Seal. Red Robot is very low. Out comes the ultimate from Imperius there, who does end up falling. They find the fight, a talent tier down. Gonna make this much more easier for them. The Immortals still fighting. Lots of work to do for Exodia, but for now, they hang on. And once again, Kevin is helping, and I promise I'm not memeing. He is putting in work, trying to get that Immortal down while the rest of the team defends.
Kevin being the homeowner right now, just trying to keep his house clean, because the keeps are being attacked. Fort will go down. Both keeps are now about to have catapults on them, but he knows he can clear this first. Deathwing will land on top of Red Robot. Nasmus trying to do some anti-damage, but Force of Will so good here. And they just avoid the conflagration of Deathwing too. And somehow, Team Exodia win that objective, which will now begin pushing into the bot lane.
Comes into the middle of the lane, so won't help to clear here. Kevin already on it, going to get a solid move. Meanwhile, Nasmus going to do the same in the top lane. They can look to finally start pushing. The shield is already down on the Immortal, however, so again, most likely not a lot coming out from this Immortal. The whole team really ready to show up here and try and fight. They have their level 16s as well. Diablo has that second charge available to him. However, Immortal already so low, won't even find the fort here.
The fort is dropped quite low, and they're trying to get some counter value elsewhere. Nasmus speeds himself top lane, making the most of that rush down. Tries to buy himself some time. Cookie Man can see that everyone is here. Can see it's a 5v4, even though that mercenary camp is being taken. Red Robot sidesteps Tremor. He's not here for a fight, though, because Kevin is currently... Kevin, no. Kevin, no!
tried to get the fort and manages to get out. They spend Hyperion. They don't get the fort. It's just a tickle away. In fact, let's take a look. It has 1,026 health. So a couple of autos from one of those damage dealers. Maybe a couple of shoots from Medivh will put it down. In fact, that's what we're going to see right here. Medivh, the safest to get away. Hopping up, finally finds it. Members of Exodia looking to come back here.
They're still holding into this. As long as they can actually aim their Hyperions the right way in the fights, I think they are in with a good shot. They're able to find Tremor here. Root from Malfurion. Angelic Armament is dropped. Stay a while and listen to try and buy them some time, but Malfurion cleanses them out. Cookie Man is going to get chonked, though, and take it out thanks to the Bellowing Roar.
This is going to be much harder without Medivh to get them in and out, but there is the Diva mech, there is the APOC. That's a lot of damage coming out. Tremor doesn't seem to mind, though. Red Robot running for his life is trying to get out, using all those jumps to his advantage. Nice set of roots by Malfurion. Great Moonfire, healing everybody up. Nice use of the defense matrix, however. Diablo going down, has the souls. We'll be back momentarily. Root onto Diva. Pew comes out. Not enough. Both frontliners taken out there. Medivh still down for 13 seconds. Race on the Immortal just going to be cake for Chili Mountain.
That's going to be the halftime show so easily. Exodia will grab their Bruiser Camp for some counter value. Their lanes are pushed up, so their keeps aren't in immediate danger. But once that Immortal comes in, this will certainly be a keep going over to Chili Mountain. Question is, can Exodia make a play a person down? Diva will not be up in time. They move in defensively. They want to try and get a pick, but Infrared is doing so much work. There's the portal, but Bellowing Roar splits the team in twain as Cookie Man is running for his life, waiting for that portal to come up. He drops the ley line, and Mason Blaze with the Heraldric Staff gets the bop, and they're able to pick up the kill. Mason Blaze with the save there as Kevin is being zoned away by Xenorus.
Really nicely done. You love the old Deckard bonk stick. Nobody ever expects it just because some of those other talents are so very strong. We do have a little bit of a push here in the bottom lane. Blaze gonna clear that out easily enough. Deathwing coming in with the Cataclysm, chasing on to Nasmus here, surrounded by four. Stay wild and listen just to secure all that damage. Mech goes down. Diva, as soon as she comes out, is pop. Tries to get the torpedo dash off, but it is not going to be enough. That's two members down, and we could be seeing the end of the series, the end of the season, as the members of Chili Mountain pick up this Immortal. It has a huge shield. Diva not going to be up for another 33 seconds. A lot of work coming in for Team Exodia.
The damage output is insane here. Imperious, Deathwing, and Li Ming, all with over 50,000 damage. And they're very much spreading that evenly. Blaze almost there as well. They're spreading their damage out so evenly just to eat whoever they engage on. Portal has to be used to get Red Robot out of there because he is getting zoned out. Force of Will is burned.
Gonna try and look for something behind this. Not able to find it. Just have to back up. It's okay to lose the keep. It's not okay to lose heroes there. Red Robot takes a chunk of health out, does not have full souls, so is definitely weaker than he has been for most of this game. They find the stun onto Xenorus. They get the double stun there, but that is going to be keep going down. Bunker drop to prevent any more damage from coming out. Malfurion trying to heal everybody up. Deckard Cain, though, going to be the first to go down. Tremor is stuck in the Diva, manages to walk out, finds the Medivh, looks for him with the spear. The Immortal already on that core, full health. Medivh goes down. Roger very low in the back, but this is looking like the end. Li Ming goes down. Diablo trying to save the day. That Immortal so healthy. Deathwing in the same boat. That is going to be game number 4, and your series going over to Chili Mountain.
Chili Mountain are your NGS Storm Division champions. Very nicely done with that final push. You could really see at the end just how impressive of a play it was from Roger, even though there was a fantastic engage to kill off Mason Blaze and a beautiful leyline APOC setup for that. Roger in the end, worked out exactly what was needed. He saw an Immortal with over half the shield, and he was like, okay, we're dying, let's just go and hope. And that's exactly what he needed to do. He took so many members of Exodia away from the fight that that very few of them were attacking the Immortal, did a huge amount of damage to the core, allowing Infrared to come in with that Cataclysm, with Burn Beneath My Shadow, to execute and finish off the game. Chili Mountain are your NGS Storm Division champions.
Great job, Chili Mountain. Going to their best map as the final map must have felt like an absolute blessing to them. This is one of their favorite comps to run. They do it so well. Mason Blaze putting in work versus that Medivh, able to always shut down those engages, shut down the Diablo. Once again, dive pretty hard countered by the sleep. Blaze to help anybody who gets straggled behind. All around excellent plays.
Absolutely beautiful. Let's have a look at some of the talents before we go and set up an interview. Speaking of which, could you try and maybe sort the interview for us?
I sure
if
can.
there is one, that would be lovely. Thank you. So let's have a quick look at the talents, because I can't tab off of Discord too effectively here. Talent-wise, we can see that we did have at the end the brand of Solarian. The Respect the Elderly was not used because he did get dunked in the last fight, but that stood in the fire. That extra 50% duration on the Cataclysm did huge damage. And Roger, playing back Repulsion to keep himself safe, just really diving onto that court, did a great job. And the classic Blaze build, he even went for Nanomachine Coating as a slight change of build here. You can go for either Nanomachine Coating or Suppressive Fire these days. The Suppressive Fire for spell power, but in this case, Kevin is the main damage source. So the Nanomachine Coating for that attack speed reduction, and also against an auto-attack Diablo, was a fantastic choice. Really nicely done by Xenorus. Very cool
checking
indeed.
with the teams right now, seeing if we can't get somebody to come in or multiple people. I know a lot of teams like to send a couple of folks in, folks that they think did really well. So we'll see if we can't hear from any of them. If we can, I am super excited to do so. And if not, then we will probably plug a little bit more about NGS, all that good stuff going on, and call it an evening.
Absolutely. So if we can get Chili Mountain in for an interview, everybody, if you have any questions for them, please put them in the chat now so that we can ask them when we are able to get a hold of them, if we can get a hold of them. And I will do the plugging while Jinxie continues to try and find the players, as we do have, of course, a fantastic season of Storm Division just concluding now. Big thank you to NGS for setting that up, and a reminder that on the 28th, sign up for Season 2 starts. So there are 3 spots available if you want to sign up and get yourself in there. It's a lot of Academy teams, but also there's so many players who are trying to get attention out there and show that they are the best. And with this, pre-made teams being able to show that this is a team that knows each other, has synergy together, and is here to win, this is the opportunity to show it. So make sure you get yourself signed up there. And also, there will be a match arena for that as well when it comes out. Exclamation mark Patreon to support the people behind the scenes, the admins and mods and website developers who make everything happen, make all of this happen for NGS. And of course, if you enjoyed our cast, bits and subs are very appreciated because they go directly to the casters.
Alrighty, it looks like we are going to get Xenorus from Chili Mountain in Lobby 5, so if we want to hop in there. And then don't go anywhere, guys. We'll go over all that information one more time, how you can sign up for Storm Division, all that good stuff. Where we are, lots of fun things, so hang out. We're going to hop in with Xenorus now, so I hope you all enjoy.
Sounds good. We're going to head over there to NGS server into lobby 5. And we are here.
Awesome, let's get it.
So, hello. For starters, congratulations on your win.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I mean, I didn't sound like it initially, but like everyone just popped off after that series. You know, cathartic.
Don't blame you at all. Jinxie, do you want to take it away?
Sure, definitely. So, going through, I have to go through myself. Game number one, that was
Infernal
Infernal
Shrines.
Shrines. Yes.
Oh.
Tell me a little bit about that one. So, well, first, before we even start with the games,
hmm
how did you guys prep? How were you getting ready for this? I mean, you beat the big bad wolf. You defeated Team Alexander not only once but twice, pushing them out of the season, and then Chile or you were dropped by Exodia. You had to come back to fight him.
hmm
What did you do to get ready for the series?
Right. So, like, I mean, aside from playing harder all day, getting good at him, and then being like, yeah, you know what, I have enough practice now after we haven't scrimped during Thanksgiving. On a serious note, like, we came together and we set up, like, a very clear, like, game plan for each of the maps in terms of, like, draft, um, knowing, like, who's an important first pick, knowing what they can play, you know, that sort of stuff. So, if we're talking about the first game, I believe they had the first pick. So, first off, Chromie, get her out of here. Like, it should be a gentleman's agreement to just like not play against or play with a Chromie. And I'm glad they banned it when they were first picked. Like, props, you know, does us all a favor. So yeah, aside from that, Cassia on the other hand, while she is like a scary threat, she still retains like a lot of the original weaknesses of just like, you know, playing Cassia. Like, if you get CC'd, then you know you're squishy enough to get blown up by a lot of things really. Um, our comp was more or less like after we saw they had the Cassia, we went for the Sylvanas just to get the snowball pressure. Deckard's also been a really solid pick for us throughout this entire series. Um, and then I don't know, there is also a weird thing that the other team had, Team Exodia, where they just picked their solo lane early. Um, for whatever reason it might be, I think it's just like more so like saving the rest of their 4-man picks for a counter pick, perhaps. Um, but yeah, aside from that, like we had most of the draft in game one just like going pretty well for us, I suppose. Um, yeah, like we were a little afraid to be honest, like when we last picked the Tychus into double blind, but it ended up working out because I mean Tychus is still really good for Shrine anyways. Um, and W build like pretty much almost one shots the monsters on the Shrine too, so that provides some clear. But yeah,
Right.
that's mostly it about draft.
Right, definitely. Well, it worked out very well for you guys. Any questions about game number one, Tetcher?
So just to capitalize on that, because this is my first time to ask any pro players about it, we are seeing a very quick rise of the W build with usually some variation on 13 and 16 with sometimes the Q talents, sometimes in your case the Neo Steel because dying isn't fun. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think is the actual rise of that talent build in general? When did this come about, and what is the reasoning behind it as opposed to the for a while combat tactician build we would see?
Yeah, in terms of like raw numbers and just like being able to put out damage, like I think the thing that a lot of Tychus players already know is that like their range is still going to be like short or mediocre, which is, you know, fine. Like it's always kind of been that way. A 1+ range is nice for some people, but like I think ultimately this sort of change is attributed one to just like the general feel of it because there have been like some buffs to grenade build over time. So
Yeah.
people are naturally curious to try it out and they compare it to their old build and they're like, you know, I kind of like the new build better. Not to mention it also kind of feels nice to play, especially since along with like the monsters on the Shining Infernal, if you use your W just like in the middle of the main wave and hit range minions, at level 7, it one-shots them completely and you can just focus on the rest of the wave. So in terms of just like having like small nuances like that, it's also one of the reasons why Blizzard, like way back early in like I think 2017, they nerfed Greymane solely because like he had good wave clear and could like
Yeah, the cocktail
one-shot the wave
build.
with a full combo. Yeah, exactly. Um, so it's kind of understandable to see like why people like the W build now. Not to mention it's also just easy poke. You have another fallback plan in case you can't really go into auto too much. You know, it's
Yeah,
great.
so I saw you adjusted and went for Titan Grenade as opposed to a lot of people take Sizzling or, as we mentioned earlier, double Q. I guess that was just for extra poke in this case.
Yeah, I mean, Sizzlin is like decent. Like it just adds on to that sort of like backline poke you can get onto Hanzo and Malfurion. Not to mention it's just like decent damage for Leoric, Johanna, sets up for my last rights. I mean, why not?
Oh yeah, your last rights were insane in that game. It was really cool to see, and also just in general, fantastic play using the no one can stop death and on a pale horse to arrive. I believe twice in that game you died early in fights and arrived back before the fights were over.
Honestly, I was really glad to get value out of it. Whenever you play Malthael, you just go into early game you're just a solo laner. You're a bot basically. Your job is to wave clear, maybe pressure the enemy laner, but it's just wave clear and rotate. Later on in team fights, Malthael specifically for me, I just get into that. How can I trade into them optimally? Even if I don't get a kill from dying, what has the enemy spent on me that we can sort of capitalize on? And I think there was one occasion in this game where they used both Dragon Arrow and Blessed Shield on me, when we were pushing onto their core, when Leoric was soloing the Shrine. And while that was kind of a bad misplay, I could have used Unstoppable there. I'm still not used to Medallion leaving, but at the same time I am. But yeah, as soon as my team just realized, they had to play sort of back. They admitted they made some misplays as well in that, as well as I did, but we got some picks later on and we managed to close it out, thankfully. Honestly, that Trinity talent comes in clutch a lot.
Pretty solid. All right, let's talk about a game where there was a little bit of a rougher time. Let's talk about game number 2, where let's start with you before we jump into the team stuff. You seem to have a pretty hard time against that Rexar.
I mean, Nexus loves his Rexar. Can't blame him. I mean, Rexar isn't really too fun, but we just basically went into that game expecting a couple things. One, I don't have to play to win top point. I just need to play to soak the lane and just do whatever I need to do in order to let my 4-man do their job and win the lane. But it's almost like they kind of saw into the future because they went for an early pick Junkrat, and I think that was a really good move on their part because one, we were sort of locked into this sort of mindset that hey, we have this really good strategy that unless it's hard countered by something, it'll work and we get better value as long as they don't have the cheese option, which is why I think we banned Sylvanas. But the Junkrat is just solid against that because if you ban Sylvanas, then you know that you don't have to. Well, it's not that you don't necessarily deal with cheese, but it's a lot less of a chance to get cheese than just outrace, the first time we did when we played Braxis against these guys earlier in the series or the tournament. And then as well as just having the Junkrat, our whole entire strat was just I'm safe solo lane, do whatever. 4-man, Garrosh, Zarya, Hammer, Morales. Almost nothing can go against that or enjoy going against that. We were wrong. Junkrat, Goldan, they do a surprising amount of damage, but that's mostly because one, the damage is always constant from these guys. Two, it's insanely hard for us to just approach that sort of comp without a clear backline focus, because in a sense, Garrosh's job isn't really just to get picks onto unsuspecting heroes. It's more about just hold on one sec. Let me just type GG's to Kevin. He's a bro. Shouting you out. But yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, Garrosh's job in this comp is just mainly to peel for the hammer and let her do her thing while we whittle the enemy down. But a couple things get in the way. One, Garrosh gets poked alongside hammer, all that AoE is tough. Even with Morales there, I think the real, arrow in the shin is the fact that they have a Junkrat, a Stukov, just a general good amount of displacement. Tremor did not have a fun time playing into so much CC and disruption. I felt bad for him, basically. And because we didn't have our anchor Garrosh to really be able to do his job of approaching or even peeling sometimes. I mean, if the only thing we can do is peel, then we can't really push into them and really get pressure by just being there. They boop they boop Hammer away regardless of whatever happens. You have W cooldown at 4, so that even if she unstoppables, you still have another chance later on. Not to mention early game too was whack because we were sort of in a weird limbo between wanting to use Siege Form and just like dominate the early game, but we don't have Unstoppable until 4, and we don't have Moving Hammer until 7. So it's even worse for us then, I think. But it still gets worse from there too because of, just Junkrat. And Stukov. Stukov especially. Like, roots into silence. Like, double silence. Muradin Haymaker, power move. I respect it. It's a lot on our plate. But that's basically the gist of it.
All right.
Right,
Jinxie?
definitely. I was gonna say, I mean, you basically said everything there was to say about the game. My only question, which you kind of answered, was it's a little bit about game 2 and then moving on to game 3.
Mhm.
How tilted was Tremor at game number 2, and how good did it feel to get vengeance on that Junkrat in game number 3? Because Mason Blaze shut him down every single time. Dragon Strike really finished it off. You guys really came back at game number 3.
Yeah, I think as long as we have enough breathing room to just like make errors and do that, like the reason why we actually just went for the second pick on Braxis is because we wanted to get it out of the way, and if we won that game, it would mess with the enemy's mindset. We lost that game, but we knew it's just 1-1. Anything can happen. There's still a couple games to go. We just push through it and focus on what's important. And Drummer stepped up. He didn't get tilted too much. Like he admitted he was tilted, but we just refreshed. We went with a new mindset and came out in game number 3 very strong, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, they did great. The entire time we were casting it, I was, as a tank main myself, like my heart goes out to him, like, oh, just let them play the game. But you guys had a rough one. You were able to bring it back. Game number 3. Early game, it seems like they really had it out for you. We were thinking, okay, maybe this is a kind of repeat of game number 2. Did you guys just wait to scale? Because they were trying really hard to just not let you turn in, and then eventually it kind of fell apart. Did you just wait, or were you guys trying to just capitalize on a mistake they made?
I mean, generally speaking, I think our team does have stronger level 20s, at least offensively. The only like really strong level 20 they have on their side is Junkrat Reptire and I guess Infinite Archon from Tassadar. But like a mix of all our, well, I don't know. This game was weird. They went for a bunch of wave clear, and in order to capitalize on it, I'm not sure what happened honestly. Like Junkrat, Tassadar insta-clears waves by themselves, so they're free to do whatever else they want on the map. The only thing I'm just questioning on this, no offense, is just like why they picked the Tyrael. Because Tyrael is supposed to be there to enable people, and just to like complement a sort of dive playstyle or just be a slippery tank in general.
Right.
But like the comp itself was very safe, at least early on. But I just don't really see like what their main win objective really is. I think that's the point. Because if you're trying to wave clear and try to establish pressure on the map, then you kind of want to get like someone who can look for those opportunities or engages rather than just waiting for the enemy team to walk into you. So I just don't really know what Tyrael did for them there specifically. Maybe they were waiting for Uro to like go and flank because, again, big wave clear, but I don't know. Like, the other ironic point too is that one of my other team members mentioned this, is that we had to defend against 2 spider waves early on, but we didn't really lose any forts per se.
Yeah.
Like, we lost the walls, we suffered some damage, but like their gems didn't really like get too much value on their own. And then when we turned in, like, we knew that our team fight is just straight up better, and it gets even better around him. We look for those entombs, dragon strikes, and honestly, all of our ultimates, in a sense, are able to just pick somebody off very well. Like, we all have that sort of solo engage opportunity that just puts pressure on the entire enemy team, where I don't think Tyrael is like enough to really like peel for 1 or 2 of them, because again, like even if he won Sanctification, we could have just went Ice Wall instead. work so well against each other. So yeah, even if we were like suffering in the mid game because one, they still have a bunch of poke, and two, they also have like a Stukov combo into Judgment. Again, you know, respect for using it. We still managed to like live from some nasty engages and also just like turnaround fights. Or even if we didn't, then we would just keep on scaling because I believe we were ahead in XP for like a good majority of that too, from just the structural advantage as well.
You guys did a really great job. We're able to come back, and like you said, you played, you made sure that you minimized your damage, and as a result, you took it in the late game.
Alrighty, so game number 4, the final game, and just to start off again, a little more personal for you. In this game, you went for the shield talent on level 1 for Blaze, not a talent that we actually see that often here. What's the logic behind it?
Honestly, I was just thinking they don't have a whole bunch of damage on their side, but what if we just made it even less damage?
Yeah, with Meltdown as well.
Oh yeah, those two together, I have found a new appreciation for those two talents. I will say that the only reason why I really want those talents is because I remember scrimming or playing a game as Blaze before the tournament where I also just tried out the spell because, you know, they buffed it a little bit and Meltdown exists, so what if you just combine the two? It sounds good on paper. It was good on paper and in
Yeah.
practice.
I mean, you went all damage reduction as well with like nanomachine coating on level 13 too. You were bullying.
Oh yeah. I mean, just to really minimize that sort of like damage that if Imperius happens to fail, or rather just like is unable to find a good Q engage just because of Medivh existing, then we always have a fallback, but just like making sure he's like peeled for, or we can just find another engage opportunity with either me or pure zoning with Deathwing or Deckard. Oh yeah, we also have a Deckard. Yeah, it's still a lot of opportunities that you can't really cover for with just one Medivh shield. And it's also hard for them to play like super offensively into us because our team,
It was Tonky.
like you would think that, yeah, like you would think Ming is like the main damage. So Diablo went spell armor, but like we're still able to like melt them. We did have a tough time though because Raynor exists and his race is just astounding, but we just had to hold out.
I mean, Ming actually got second highest damage on the team with Tremor on Imperius getting the highest, and then Ming got 2k less than that, and then you and Infrared on a Blaze and Deathwing got only 5k less than Li Ming. So the damage was pretty shared amongst the team.
Yeah, surprisingly even.
Jinxie?
The last one I have is just how insulting is it that Mason Blaze isn't banned out on Deckard Cain every single time? And do you expect to see more Deckard bans in the future? Because the dude is just a monster. Every time he gets the Deckard, I'm like, all right, well, this ought to be interesting. And I think almost every single time I've seen you guys with the Deckard, you come out on top.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Like in the last game, we were asking ourselves. They picked. What did they pick first again? Raynor.
It was
I think it was the Raynor.
Raynor. It was Raynor or Diva first, I think.
Yeah, I believe it was the Raynor. And so we were thinking, you know, we had this plan that if we left a lot of people up, then we could get either Ming Stukov if they first picked the Deckard, or we could at least get Ming Deckard with that sort of thing. And we were asking ourselves, okay, so they picked the Raynor. Stukov fits well. You got armor, you got pick potential, tons of stuff. But at the same time, we had such a good track record with the Deckard. So we just went for the comfort pick, and it worked out. You know, if it's not broken, then
exactly.
Well, maybe it's a little broken, but that's
not in that way.
Well, you guys did an absolutely fantastic job. I hope you are very proud of yourselves. You are the very first Storm Division winners. You guys will take the prize pool home. Do you have anything left to say, or any more questions left, Tetcher?
I do not. I am ready for the shout outs and the congratulations to Chili Mountain for being the first champions. Do you have anyone you want to thank? Anyone you want to call out for next season? Any last words?
I don't know. It's kind of like overwhelming now that we're actually here because I mean we had a run earlier in NGS Heroic Div and we were just like we did so well, but then we just fell flat and now we're just here after all of it's ended. There's a lot of people I want to thank out. I guess I'll start by giving a shout out to my team. Um, Tremendous, honestly, best team I've found so far in terms of just like overall synergy, just knowing I can put my trust in them because I'm solo winning. They're doing their own thing as a four-man, and I know that they can handle their stuff. And they are, well, sometimes we do get tilted, but we get tilted as a team. We try not to blame each other. We just try to like play off it. Sometimes we look really hard into our mistakes and just sort of carry that sort of weight, or we just get tilted at the fact that Crummy's left out, or left through. But that aside, again, big shout outs to everyone. Tremor, Mason, Roger playing with South American ping. God, he's so good. And Infrared for just being the main shot call and draft captain. And of course, Wary Day for subbing for us. Love you so much, Wary Day. After that, I want to shout out to the audience and everyone who made this possible. Honestly, you guys coming here it means a lot to me. It means a lot to everyone in the NGS community. You know, just showing your support, just showing that you care about sort of like semi-serious esports. We have CCL now, that's a thing, but like the fact that everyone's just like watching and people are still interested in professional HOTS, it's great. Just showing your support, just being here, contributing to the prize pool, whatever it is, like you guys are breathtaking. The other shout outs I want to give, let's see, a lot of people in, I don't know, like there's been a lot happening during this NGS Storm season, Chili Mountain, our sponsor, they were really great to us, honestly. So, they're cool sponsors. Yep, cool. Chili Mountain. Yeah, I'll stop.
I am tempted to kick you off just for that pun, but I will allow it.
Oh,
please
man.
don't. I already get punched enough for puns. But aside from that, yep, thank you, Chili Mountain, for sponsoring us. And best of luck from now on, because we are also rebranding our team now to Heavy Impact. Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, not we take these anymore, sadly, but we went with something new. I reused one of my old icons for a team and made it into something. It'll be on our Discord if you're in there. But yeah, aside from that, shout outs to a lot of people from the CCL community in general, like the players as well. Like we scrim a lot of people even before they got picked up for CCL, and it's great practice. Shout outs to Team Exodia tonight for playing. They stepped up. It's really unfortunate Nasbus had like 10 FPS in the first game, which explained, I think that's the only reason why I ever like won a single Malfield duel that game.
Aw.
But like those guys are great. They're super friendly. I get to banter a lot with them. And it's nothing like other competitive games too, because I don't know, everyone just makes a big deal about like all chat, but if you keep things friendly, then why not just like, talk it out during draft? It's for money, sure, it's serious, but it doesn't mean you can't be friends.
Right.
Shout outs to my old EU team, Coffee, Halcyon, everyone else. I was with them for a short while, but it feels like it sort of stayed with me, and I'm thankful for them just to like swing by and support me. Yeah, that's a lot of shout outs actually.
It's a lot of shout outs. Feels good.
Yeah. And have I forgot anyone else? Let me check my friends list.
Shout out all 200 of your friends.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Shout outs to you guys, the casters. You know, it's honestly just being great. It feels great being casted by you guys. Just, you know, it seems like you're good people. And good
Hey.
casters. And it's been a pleasure just working with you guys. And shout outs to I don't know. My brain's just fried at this moment.
Do you want me to start playing the Oscar music?
Oh,
if you're struggling to think of
You can
people.
just hit him with the, if I forgot to, I appreciate you. Thank you for your contributions.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. If I forgot about you, I am so terribly sorry. I will do my best to make up for that in the future by maining Hogger.
You can shout him out when you win next
That's right.
season.
Oh yeah, that too. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're in.
Alrighty, my dear. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for talking us through those games. We appreciate you. Congratulations, you guys. You
Thank
are
you
the
so
very
much.
first winners. Once again, you're going to take home the $1,540 prize pool, which NGS will get in contact with you guys about that. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Go ahead and celebrate with your team now.
Oh yeah, we'll take these. Thank you very much.
Have a good night, Zanaris. Thank you so much.
You too.
GG, Vud. Have a good night. Alrighty, me and Jinxie are going to get back into our call so that we can sign off for the night. And call. Bloop, 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 bloop. And there's a Jinxie bringing it back to us. So, that is the end of the first season of the Nexus Gaming Series Storm Division. But that is not the end of Storm Division. As Jinxie, what's happening next year? And still a little bit at the end of this year.
Alrighty, so just a reminder to everybody, if you're still hanging in there with us, then we appreciate you. As a reminder, we will have Season 2 starting up soon. The start of registration, I believe, is December 28th, so you guys can go ahead and start getting squared away then. There's going to be a lot of starting coming up. You have all the way up until the Sunday of the first qualifier to get your team registered. As a reminder, we'll have 3 where teams can compete in the qualifiers. Whoever wins will go into the second season. Our first one is going to be January 6th and 7th. The second one is going to be January 13th and 14th. And then, of course, qualifier 3 will be the 20th and 21st. You don't have to be any kind of rank to join. There is no money you have to put down. You just have to show up, try and win. Again, the winners are going to be the folks who do move on. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I am forgetting everything, but you know.
While you're looking, a big shout out to everyone who donated to the prize pool for this season. There has been some reward art for everyone who did donate. If you haven't got your reward art yet, it's because you did not have contact information on your donation. Please message Wedge in the NGS Discord so that you can get your reward artwork for the match arena. Again, thank you to everyone who donated and helped make this season everything it is.
All right. Yeah, I realized I looked down and just below everything. You guys probably want to know when Season 2 starts. So that will start February 15th, and playoffs will run until about mid-May. That is roughly around the time that NGS starts up. So even if you're not a Storm Division player, you can get in on our amateur series. We have everything from Division E to all the way up to Storm Division. Obviously, Storm Division being our top tier of play. And whether you're Bronze 5 or Grandmaster 1, you are welcome. You are invited. There are ways to get you signed up with a team. You can check out the Discord for that. All the information will be there. I think ! Discord will bring you to that. A friendly reminder that everything NGS does is 100% voluntary. So please be kind to the admins if they can't get to you right away. Regards to any questions you have about any of this, please be kind to all the staff. They do it, like I said, just out of the goodness and kindness of their hearts. And if you want to support them so they can keep bringing you really cool events like this, then you can check out ! Patreon. You can support the NGS Patreon. And for as little as $1 a month, you can get some cool stuff and you can help out Heroes Esports.
And if you enjoyed our casting for tonight, then please consider dropping a sub or a bit donation to show your appreciation. For now, though, that is the end of Nexus Gaming Series Storm Division Season 1. Thank you all very much for watching. Big shout out to all the people who played and casted throughout it. We had so many people covering this wonderful league. But from myself and Jinxie, it is going to be a good night. Check us out on our own personal channels, Jinxeekatt and Tetcher. Our names are next to us, so that you can read them and see exactly where you can find us on Twitters and Twitches, etc., where we do casting and streaming and all sorts of other lovely stuff. For now, big thank you to everyone who watched. Hope you had a wonderful time. See you next season for more Storm Division action, and tune in tomorrow where Jinxie will be commentating me, where I'm going to attempt to not throw in the finals.
One thing I wanted to say before we head off is I want to give a big shout out to the person behind all of this, Wedge. He really hasn't been brought up for any of these. He's the guy who has put it all together, who has tirelessly worked to wrangle about 100 ex-professional players. If you've ever done that, it is an absolute pain. I don't know what he did, like putting the fear of God into folks all the way from, Europe and Korea who decided to finally start showing up on time. So big shouts to Wedge. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. Thank you to everyone for putting this on over at NGS, all the staff and everyone who just put in, Murd, I believe, made a lot of the graphics and whatnot. So just thank you guys. Nobody has really said anything about you, and I wanted to just let everybody know that you did a lot of hard work and you deserve a recommendation.
They really do, and hopefully we'll get to see more of their hard work when Season 2 comes around, because we hope you will tune in once again. For now, though, from us, it is have a lovely night. Hope you will tune in for more NGS action, as there are playoffs and coastal and grand finals for all the other NGS divisions happening throughout the next few weeks. For me, it's a good night. Jinxie, any final words?
Check out NGS. You guys are all the best. Thank you so much for hanging out and supporting Amateur Hots. Have a lovely evening, and we will see you later.
Have a good night, everybody. Mods, if you're around, see if you can raid us over to someone fun. Hope you all have a wonderful evening, and good night.